Reminder of the team news here for Newport. Nick Townsend, their keeper. Joe Thomas, James Clark, Matt Baker and Shane McLaughlin in the back four. Cameron Antwi, Kieran Brennan and Kai Whitmore across midfield. Then Michael Spellman, Kyle Hudlin and Bobby Camworth in attack in a 4-3-3. A 3-4-3 for Walsall coming here today. Tommy Simkin, their goalkeeper. David Okagbue, Harry Williams and Taylor Allen in a back three. Nathan Asimwe, Ryan Stirk, Alfie Chang, Liam Gordon across midfield. Albert Adoma and Jamie Jellis in support of Levi Amanchi in attack. A reminder of how League Two looks ahead of kickoff. Port Vale atop on 76 points. They take on Grimsby this afternoon at 3 o'clock at Vale Park. Doncaster also at home to Colchester. They're on 75 points, one behind Vale. Bradford are 1 point further back themselves. They go to Chesterfield at 3 o'clock. So Port Vale 76, Doncaster 75, Bradford 74. Walsall here about to kick off on 73. So a win takes the Saddlers back top ahead of those 3 o'clock kickoffs, and we are underway for our feast of EFL and Premier League football across the Talksport network this Easter Monday. Walsall in their chain strip of white shirts with red shorts and socks are kicking from right to left as we look. They're defending the south stand where their supporters are, kicking towards the empty north terrace to our left. Newport in the amber shirts, black shorts and black and amber socks. They are defending that empty north terrace end and attacking the south stand. We're sat right at the back of the Candleston terrace, and there's a bit of a letterbox view we've got here at the pitch. The overhang of this stand means we can only see the first 3 or 4 rows of supporters opposite us in the Bisley stand, but thankfully there are no pillars in the ways of the goals or speakers like you have at Crystal Palace now. Apparently Sellers Park, they installed new speakers, completely obliterated broadcasters' view of where the goal was, Sam.
Yeah, it's a tough view at Sellers. Similarities actually here, we're a little bit lower probably from the radio point at Sellers Park, but yeah, keep the ball on the deck this afternoon, please, gentlemen.
Well, here is Levi Amanchi trying to keep the ball on the deck for Walsall and sliding it down the left wing for Albert Adoma. Jinking his way to the byline, gets the ball across the face of goal, and the header is actually sent wide in the end by Jamie Jellis, who was running in about 8 yards out. An early half chance for Walsall, 0-0.
Yeah, encouraging. I think they've had a good start. Amanchi linking the play, and Adoma will probably be a little bit free-spirited and have the freedom to roam. That was him pulling wide left, and Jellis arriving. We spoke about him pre-match potentially getting closer to the centre forward, having more opportunities than the opponent's goal, and it's he with the first half chance of the game.
Hasn't scored since February, Jamie Jellis, who joined from Tamworth not so long ago. And Amanchi, yeah, he's scored 3 since he moved from Bromley. You mentioned that earlier, Sam. Hudlin, the giant striker for Newport County, wins the flick on but can't find a teammate, and Liam Gordon strikes it against Kai Whitmore, and it goes out of play for a throw into Walsall on this near side. And nice noisy Rodney parade, plenty of spectators around us as a drummer banging away just down to our right hand side, making a fearful racket. All good for the atmosphere.
Yeah, I remember coming here in my last year as a professional, really good atmosphere, especially the terracing down to our left, and I think that was a feature of those cup victories, those cup runs. Excellent atmosphere, very intimidating for the sides higher up the food chain coming here.
Well, down the right hand side, Nathan Asimwe for Walsall brings the ball up at the halfway line. We've played 2.5 minutes on Talksport 2. Newport County 0, Walsall 0 in League 2. Ball's at the back with Harry Williams. Gives it to Alfie Chang, one of a few Birmingham City players on loan at Walsall, or with connections to Birmingham City. In fact, the midfield two are both Birmingham players, Ryan Stirk and Alfie Chang. Stirk, who joined on a free transfer from Birmingham a couple of years ago. Chang, who's on loan. In the centre of midfield, it's picked up by Cameron Antwi for Newport County. Works it out to the right-hand side, tucked over the halfway line by Joe Thomas, but Walsall win it back. Gordon flicking it up to halfway, and Adoma just bursts between 2 players. Amanchi moves down the left-hand side, but Adoma moves midfield, now tries to find Amanchi, and Thomas just tucks it behind for a first goal, corner kick of the game to Walsall, with 3.5 minutes gone away to our left. But actually the offside flag's gone up against Amanchi, and it's going to be a free kick to Newport instead, 0-0.
Really good from Adoma again. Dance really positive, driving forward. He had the option to slip it left to Amanchi early in that move, but drove towards the heart of the Newport County defence. Unfortunately, just couldn't execute his pass, but he started the game really brightly, the veteran.
The shirt number matches his age, 37 years young, Albert Adoma, over 600 club appearances to his name. And he's part of 4 changes that have been made by Matt Sadler for this afternoon's game. Okagbue has to put the ball out of play, so Newport have a throw over on the far side of the field for Shane McLaughlin, their left back to take. Midway point of the Walsall half. Pitch looks in very good order. It is shared by the rugby club, of course, the Dragons here. But it's in good order, this pitch. Now Amanchi turns and runs into the Newport half. Adoma to his right this time, receives it now, level with the 18-yard line. 3 waiting for a cross in Walsall white. It's laid back to Jellis at the edge of the area, but he was dispossessed by Kai Whitmore, who was quickly round him. But Walsall win the ball back through Asimwe on the right-hand side. Tucks it infield to Jellis. Right-hand corner of the box. Asimwe goes again to the dead ball line. Can't keep his feet together, and it just toe ends out for a Newport goal kick away to our left. So the sun comes out in Newport, 0-0.
Yeah, the sting kind of went out of the attack just when the centre forward Amanchi played Albert Adoma a little bit short over on the right-hand side. They were to get bodies back behind the ball. And I think that when the pattern in terms of what Newport County are trying to do is set, they're going quite long. I think, with that back 3, it's quite narrow for Walsall, and especially Gordon on this near side likes to get really high. Already I'm seeing Newport players just arcing their runs into that space behind the wing-back to the outside of the left-sided centre-half, Allen, and very much playing as a number 10, Whitmore. We expected him to be part of a kind of midfield 3, but he's playing in behind Hudlin for Newport. I think he's going to be pivotal in that movement, trying to be quite proactive, stretching the back line. So, yeah, I think we've seen encapsulated maybe in the opening 5 minutes or so what Newport are currently, and I don't imagine this is kind of the blueprint moving ahead, but I think at the moment they're going to be quite direct in this game.
0-0 on Talksport 2. We mentioned that Walsall are on a long run without a win. Newport are 6 without a win themselves going into this game. The Exiles 8 points clear of relegation with 3 to play. A win against Walsall today would ensure safety, but in reality for Newport there's so much traffic between them and the bottom 2 that it's going to take the freakish set of results to drag Newport into the bottom 2. Carlisle have got to pull up trees. They've got to win all 3 and hope that there's lots of slip-ups elsewhere. Ball's back with the Newport back line, picked up in midfield by Cameron Antwi, and he floats the ball across to Joe Thomas, but under pressure from Adoma, has to go back to James Clark, the captain. Now Matt Baker, who's just celebrated his 100th Newport County appearance. Neat cushion header down from Hudlin, found Antwi, but then he had the ball taken off his toe, and Walsall have it back out on the right-hand side with Nathan Asimwe, looking to take on McLaughlin down that right-hand side. Gets the crossing over the head of Amanchi, and Thomas heads clear. Hudlin quickly onto the loose ball as it ran toward the halfway line, but then he was surrounded by white Walsall shirts, and the Saddlers have it back. And it's Sturck finding Jellis, and then out to Asimwe, again trying to run up McLaughlin down that right-hand side, and McLaughlin slipped. Asimwe's into the box, goes for goal, and it's driven at Townsend, who can only spool it behind for a Walsall corner away to our left-hand side. Their first of the game. 7 gone, 0-0.
He's a little bit unfortunate, McLaughlin, over on the far side. I thought he was in a good position to defend it. Actually got a little challenge in. The ball ran for Asimwe. Then the little fake to shoot on his right foot to bring it infield onto his left was really good play. Just couldn't find either corner. Quite comfortable for Townsend. That said, he's just spilt it behind the goal for the corner.
So Taylor Allen, who takes the set pieces, will have this corner kick. Everyone's at the near post as it goes into that near post from Allen. Bit of head tennis around the edge of the penalty area. Adoma picks it up, strokes it back out to Allen right-hand side. He plays a 1-2 with Adoma, pulls it back along the 6-yard line. Good defending at the near post to get it clear for Newport County. But as they clear it up to halfway, Sturck tidies up for Walsall and they keep possession, 0-0.
Yeah, it's a really bright start from Walsall. No question at all. They're in command already of this game, knocking it about and had a few half opportunities. I think the cutback should have been for Williams there, who was well positioned when Allen worked the 1-2 with Adoma on the far side. Lovely football, just couldn't execute the final pass.
Albert Adoma again down the right-hand side. Deep cross into the area, but it's a comfortable catch for Nick Townsend for Newport, who's made over 200 appearances for Newport since he joined from Barnsley 7 years ago. 11 clean sheets this season for Nick Townsend, who's seen off a lot of potential heirs to the throne between the sticks for Newport County. Ball's out of play for a Newport throw over on the far side of the field in front of the Bisley stand, opposite our commentary position. And it's brought down by Antwi. Knocks it back for Baker. Across for Clark, his captain, inside his own half. Jellis goes to pressurise the ball, and then it's another square pass to find Baker. Out to McLaughlin, left-hand side on the halfway line. Moves slowly into the Walsall half and then slides it down the left for Camworth. Camworth up against Asimwe, but Asimwe just gets a toe in, and then Adoma helping his teammate out, trying to keep it in play, but it's been given as a Newport throw, is it? No. Yeah, it has been given as a Newport throw, taken quickly by McLaughlin and passed back into the centre circle for James Clark. Thomas, the right back, right beneath our commentary position, lofts it down the right-hand side, asking Whitmore to give chase, but Okagbue will get there just ahead of Hudlin. Didn't get much distance on the clearance, but Stirk headed it back into the centre of his own half. And then an overhit pass from Kieran Brennan evades McLaughlin, and Walsall end up with a throw just shy of the halfway line. 0-0 on Talksport 2, and we played 10 minutes. Here's Sam Parkin.
Yeah, no sooner had I said that they're going to look for Hudlin on all occasions. Actually played some really nice football there, so there has been a little bit of variety in their play. Two centre-halves comfortable with the ball at their feet, and they've obviously got that real threat on the left-hand side of Camworth, who they tried to get into the game on that occasion, and Whitmore again harrying Williams when the ball goes into the channel. So I think his energy absolutely is going to be key. There looks to be a nice balance about their front players.
Manchie just tried to touch the ball in field with a back heel to get Liam Gordon away. Newport got players around the ball and won it back. Townsend clears up to halfway, Hudlin the inevitable target, but Okagbue got there before him. Bit of head tennis around this near touchline, and Walsall have been awarded the throw just over the halfway line. Remember, this is the first of 4 exclusive commentaries we've got from either EFL or Premier League for you today across Talksport 2 and Talksport. Leeds against Stoke will follow this game at 3 o'clock at Ellen Road, with Leeds almost there for a return to the Premier League. And then at 5:30, the two teams directly below them, Burnley and Sheffield United, meet at Turf Moor. That's live on Talksport, and remember, it's as simple as this. If Leeds and Burnley win, they go up today. Sheffield United will have to make do with the playoffs, which is something they've never managed to achieve. They've never won the playoffs in, I think, 9 previous attempts at it. That will play on their minds, you can be certain of that. And, of course, we've got Premier League action for you tonight as well, because Nottingham Forest travel to Spurs at 8 p.m. That's live on Talksport at that time. Walsall in possession, but they're giving it up cheaply on halfway. But then Brennan gives it away too for Newport, playing it back blind into his own half. And Asimwe works it up to Amanchi. Good quick feet from him. Lovely ball out to Gordon as well, left-hand side. Took a touch and sent the ball into the area, but Clark got it clear. Gordon's trying to keep it in play on this near side, but Joe Thomas did really well. Brought the ball down out of the sky and got it clear, but then he's been let down by his teammates, and Walsall have it back again. Gordon away, down the left-hand side, fed by Allen. Rolls it into the near post, looking for Adoma. But again, there was a defender there. It was Brennan who got back for Newport that time to get it out of play for a throw to Walsall. 0-0, 12 gone.
Yeah, I mean, Thomas defended the first attack really well down this right-hand side. He's been immaculate in the opening exchanges here, but unfortunately for him, Gordon had kind of stayed in the wide position high on that flank, and when the ball got recycled, he was completely unopposed to put yet another ball into the Newport County box. But to this point, 2 centre-halves have repelled any dangerous balls coming in.
Harry Williams with a long throw, comes back to him, left-hand corner of the area, clips it into the box. Amanchi trying to hold it up and feed it into the feet of Chang. Asimwe picks it up for Walsall. Diagonal ball into the box, and Townsend was a bit worried for a moment as it went across the face of goal, but he knew where his posts were and just let it drift wide for a Newport County goal kick away to our left-hand side. Walsall won 2-0 in the reverse fixture at the Bescott back in December. They've never done the double over Newport before. And it's 0-0 here, where Walsall are bidding to get back to the top of the table ahead of the 3 games that the 3 teams above them have got at 3 p.m. this afternoon. And we'll keep you in touch with all those. Adrian Durham will let you know exactly how Port Vale and Bradford and Doncaster get on with their games. Hudlin for Newport at 0-0, works it out to the right-hand side, kept in play by Spellman. down by the corner flag. Whitmore in support a bit further down the touchline. Now it's worked back to Thomas. Cross into the area. Half volley cleared by Chang. It drops for Amanchi just shy of the halfway line. Adoma's making a run down the left rim, but Amanchi couldn't wrap his foot round the ball downfield. And that just drifts out of play harmlessly for a Newport County throw. So as things stand, Walsall would go above Bradford on goal difference into third with the point they're getting. But that's all they would do. They would still be behind Doncaster and Port Vale by 1 and 2 points respectively. Throw in for Newport County. Thomas sends it into the Walsall half, but Allen heads it back in there. The Saddlers bring it back into their own possession with Alfie Chang. Knocks it back for David Okagbue. Then turn around the corner by Jellis for Asimwe on halfway. Jellis gets it back in field. Chang and Stirk then combine. Newport sitting off, not really pressurising. Then Chang lofts it down the right-hand side of the box, and Jellis just got a slight steal of a march on Matt Baker for a moment. He got to the dead ball line, but the ball across the face of goal was straight into the grateful arms of Nick Townsend, 0-0.
Yeah, there's his kind of willingness to run beyond again there. Jellis did well actually to make it into a contest there. Looked like Baker was cruising towards the loose ball. I think it may be better to go into Amanchi's feet there, who'd showed. But it's been a good start. Like I said, for the visitors, I would suggest Newport unable to get any good possession really in the final third in the threatened areas, despite being able to have a little bit of a feel of the ball. I would say that the Saddlers have just shaded the opening part of this game.
Sam Parkin with me, Ian Danter, as Walsall win it back high up the field. Jellis down the right-hand side of the box has got three moving into the area. Just lays it off to Asimwe, right-hand corner of the area, and then offside. He played it into the feet of Jellis, but Jellis was in an offside position. Easy decision for the assistant on that far side to make, and Newport get themselves a free kick inside their own penalty area. It's 0-0 on Talksport 2 with a quarter of an hour gone at Rodney Parade.
He's had a lot of the ball, Asimwe, over on the far side. Obviously, big shoes to fill. Barrett's been such a big player for Walsall throughout the season, so a bit stop-start since he's come in from Charlton, but he looks incredibly athletic. Looks like it's going to be a good battle between him and McLaughlin, and he's actually been the Walsall player who's probably kind of tiptoed into the 18-yard box more than any other player into crossing or shooting position. So, yeah, I've liked what I've seen from him so far.
Barrett is on the bench for Walsall this afternoon. But Asimwe making his 8th appearance for Walsall today on loan from the Addicts. And he has seen a lot of possession over on the far side of the field with Walsall in their white shirts, the change strip attacking the North Terrace, and free kick taken quickly by Tommy Simkin, the goalkeeper, looking out to this near side for Liam Gordon, but Thomas there again to defend, headed it downfield, but Stirk could just let it go out of play and takes the throw quickly and gives it to Taylor Allen. And if Walsall win any free kicks in and around the penalty area, Taylor Allen is more than decent with the ball at his feet in those set-piece situations, Sam Parkin.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, they're clearly very well-structured team, Walsall. I think they all know their roles. The one little tactical quirk is that Stirk will drop in to the middle of the two centre-halves. They go quite wide, and Taylor Allen actually goes into midfield on occasions to become part of the build-up. He's obviously a really talented footballer, and the numbers show you that, and he's a really good attacking threat as well, obviously with the goals and the assists, a lovely left foot. So he gets given a little bit of a hybrid role, gets given that trust to become a little bit more offensive quite early in the build-up, which is interesting. 3
goals in his last 5 games for Taylor Allen, 10 in all in terms of goals in League 2 this season. Newport have it back with their captain, James Clark, who was a Walsall player until he moved to Newport in 2021 on a free transfer, so he'll be motivated today against his old club. And there is a former exile on the Walsall bench in Jamil Matt this afternoon as well, so 1 or 2 with connections between both sides. Throw in for Walsall. Nelson Jardine, the Newport manager, just looking on directly beneath our commentary position, and Taylor Allen being told first of all to get on with it, and second not to steal too many yards down this near touchline. He steals them anyway, and throws the ball up to halfway, but Newport have it. A bit of a misunderstanding between Stirk and Allen, and Hudlin tries to work it in field for Kai Whitmore, spinning away from a couple of challenges. Neatly done by Whitmore. Now Thomas looks up, puts the ball into the area, just over the head of Hudlin, and it was headed wide in the end by Camworth, who was up at the far post but was falling backwards and couldn't apply the direction on the header. So it goes behind that south stand goal where the Walsall fans have travelled in decent numbers down from the West Midlands. It's a goal kick to the Saddlers, and it stays 0-0 with 19 minutes gone on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2.
That was a better ball in from Thomas. You probably wanted it the other way round. You wanted Hudlin probably peeling to the far post and Camworth coming a little bit towards the near. I think Nelson Jardine was actually just instructing his right back just to try and be a little bit flatter with that delivery, the trajectory, so to enable Kyle Hudlin to go and have something to attack. But I'll tell you this for nothing, 10-15 minutes in, Thomas is a player. I can tell that already. He reminds me a little bit of Kevin Foley already. Very unfussy in terms of his defending, but good decision making, good technique on the ball, simple, gives it into midfield, gives it to his wide player. He's getting a lot of plaudits, I know, locally.
And he's one of those examples you gave earlier of using the Welsh market, because he came from the Swansea Academy a few years ago. And that can be often handy for a club like Newport to pick up those players that somehow don't make the grade a bit further up the food chain in this country.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's always been an avenue for them. I think of Bristol City as well, that link that they had. I think over the years, Swindon, once upon a time when Scott Twine, I think, came here, the infancy of his career. So you have to lean on them, and maybe in some cases they haven't got it perfect this season, because naturally they would have wanted to be slightly higher up the table, given the form of the early part of the season, which is tailed off quite drastically.
They've been in the bottom half most of the second half of the season, Newport County, and that run of no wins in 6 has seen them drop a little lower than they would like, but as I mentioned, they are pretty much safe for another season. Walsall coming forward with Ryan Stirk, firing it down the right-hand side of the penalty area on the deck, but it's overhit. Jellis was the intended target, but it goes over the dead ball line into that massive area of sort of yellow astroturf behind the goal away to our left-hand side. It's a good 10-15 yards of exposed astroturf before you get to that north terrace behind there. I should call it amber astroturf, really, shouldn't I, since this is Newport County? It's not yellow.
I mean, the pitch is incredible. I think there was rugby on it yesterday, which is fascinating.
I've been here before when the pitch has been absolutely awful. But they had it relayed about 4 or 5 years ago, before Southampton came here in an EFL Cup tie, rubbed their hands and won 8-0, because they loved this lush green surface they were suddenly being asked to play on. Amanchi chests the ball down for Walsall, but straight to Clark, the captain. Gets it up to halfway. Hudlin appears to be manhandled, but now Whitmore's away for Newport down the right-hand side of the area. Tries to check inside. Williams rolls it across to Camworth, gets the shot against Okebue, and then Gordon runs into the penalty area and clears it away hurriedly for Walsall. McLaughlin tries to recycle the ball back into the box, but then it's volleyed downfield by Jellis. That was a good opening for Newport County. Now Amanchi trying to make a nuisance of himself just outside the Newport area, but between Baker and Clark, they deal with him and get the ball up to halfway. But that was a nervous moment at the back for Walsall, Sam Parkin.
Yeah, it's that drive, that running power of Whitmore, really. It was just a second ball and it's hooked into the space, but he wants to run towards the opposition goal. He looks like a really strong athlete. Just hesitated, didn't he, I think, at the vital moment. Campbell was there, square. He did ultimately find him, but by then the Saddlers were able to get some bodies back behind the ball. So by far and away, the biggest threat that Newport have shown.
Halfway through the first half on your home with the EFL, Talksport 2. It is Newport County 0, Walsall 0. Walsall needing to win to get back to the top of League 2. Defeat would keep them outside the top 3 automatic spots. Here's Liam Gordon for the Saddlers, coming forward to the edge of the area. The left wing back just lays it off 30 yards out to Jellis. Jellis tried to strike, but he was caught by Whitmore as he let the shot go. Blocked away. Stirk now picks it up 25 yards out. Rolls it to his left for Allen on his left foot. Gives it out to the left wing for Albert Adoma. Adoma tries a right wing cross. It's blocked at source by Brennan, and he heads it clear. And then Hudlin uses his telescopic legs to keep it away from the challenge of Williams. And here come Newport down the right-hand side with the impressive Thomas. Thomas tries to whip the cross in, but Allen blocked that cross, and Walsall have possession back, 0-0.
Yeah, that was a good illustration of what we were just talking about a few moments ago, with Sturk going a little bit deeper and allowing Allen to push up down the left-hand side. Him and Gordon combining. Jealous let him fly from, 25-odd yards when I thought there was another pass in it. Asimwe had made up the distance to be an option on the right-hand side, and Jealous probably in that anxiety and eager state just to affect the game, is probably picking the wrong decision there.
Ball's back with Nick Townsend, Newport County goalkeeper, 30 years of age now. Plays it back out to Baker, who made his 100th appearance last time out against Milton Keynes. Former Stoke player, was initially on loan at Newport, now permanent. And he's got some defending to do as the ball's rolled into Levi Amanchi, just holding the play up with Baker at his back. Gives it back to Ryan Sturk and further back into the Walsall half, and Allen just hits a left-footed ball looking for Asimwe on the right-hand side, but Shane McLaughlin had read that crossfield pass and headed it out of play for a Walsall throw. So we're past the midway point of the first half, no goals, and this, looking at Walsall's body language, the way they're going about their business, they don't look particularly timid. Hudlin's just been brought down, and then it's sent down the left-hand side by Spellman, finding Camwa at the dead ball line, tries to nutmeg Okagbue, goes out of play, and Newport have suddenly won their first corner of the game. Maybe there will be some nervous looks on Walsall faces now for this corner kick, 0-0.
Yeah, just burst into life a little bit in the last few minutes, and it's all about getting that good quality into Hudlin. You can't force it, you need to open up the angle. That space needs to develop kind of in the midfield area to allow the ball to come into his feet, and then there's only going to be one winner. If he's not being shielded by a midfield player, him against Williams, it doesn't matter, him against Allen, he's going to pin, he's going to get that first touch, and then it's about getting runners off him, which they did to good effect there.
Referee just checking to make sure that the ball is correctly in the quadrant, and Shane McLaughlin's been told, no, it's not, move it back. So he moves it back literally a fraction of a centimetre, and that appears to have done the trick for the referee, Sam Perkis, who runs away, and McLaughlin, it's going to be a right-footed delivery from the left-back. Hudlin, the giant 6'7" striker, around the penalty spot, makes a run to the near post, but it doesn't find him. Well, it might eventually, it just deflected his way. He gives it back to McLaughlin, left-hand corner of the area, infield for Spellman with a drive, well held on his goal line by Tommy Simpkin. That's the first thing the Walsall keepers had to do all afternoon, and Michael Spellman gave that a fearful thump from the edge of the area. 0-0.
It was a really good take, wasn't it, from Simpkin, because as you say, got plenty of meat behind that strike. Yes, it was straight down the barrel, but he did well with Newport players just tiptoeing into the 6-yard box looking for a tap-in.
Ian Danter and Sam Parkin with you on Talksport 2. 0-0 between Newport County and Walsall. We're in the 27th minute. Asimwe for Walsall finds Chang, lays it off for Sturk, and Sturk with a quick ball across to Allen, who's midway point of the Newport half. Quick ball up to Amanchi, manages to tuck the ball neatly out to Gordon. Allen's continued his run into the area, across comes the defender, and he did enough, did Matt Baker, to get across Allen. They both collided. No sense of a foul between the two, it's just two players going for the ball, but Allen came out second best, and Townsend, the keeper, could clutch onto the ball gratefully. 0-0 the score, it stays.
Nice combination again down the left-hand side. I just felt it was a really measured pass from Gordon into the running Taylor Allen. I just thought he was going to swing a leg at it. He just hesitated, and it gave Baker the opportunity to come in and clear.
Hudlin and Williams both go to ground, and Hudlin stayed down. Might be a little head injury. It's been indicated by the referee, Sam Perkis, that the on-loan Huddersfield striker needs a bit of attention, but actually he's being told by Hudlin, no, I'm all right, I don't need the physios. So it gives some of the players the chance to come across and take on some fluid and take on some instruction from their respective managers, Nelson Jardim and Matt Sadler. And also, well, Darren Byfield's got plenty to say for himself as well, your old pal down there as part of the Walsall coaching staff.
Yeah, they'll be pleased with the first, 10, 15 minutes, and now they'll be concerned that Newport have got a little bit of a foothold. He's problematic. Hudlin, again, if you get the quality into him, Williams has just got to allow him to have possession at times, and then it's about that second phase, making sure that people are picked up, making sure that runs are matched. That first ball, sometimes you've just got to allow him to have it. I mean, I didn't probably recognise that till later on in my career. If the centre forward positions himself intelligently, there's no getting around them. Towards the end, I didn't even jump. No. You know, the body's coming into you. If you can feel where the centre half is, if the ball knocks down into that area just in front of the centre forward and the centre half challenging, you've done your job as a centre forward, and then it's up to your midfield player to be brighter than his opposite number.
Well, we've kind of had an unofficial drinks break here at Rodney Parade. Referee's just been having a word with Harry Williams and Carl Hudlin, who went down in a heap there that meant that Hudlin was hurt for a short period of time. But not only did all the outfield players come over, Tommy Simkin, the Walsall keeper, came over clutching the ball, and he will eventually get things back underway as there's an uncontested drop ball given to him. Hudlin's okay, doesn't need any treatment, so we're still 11 against 11 as we approach the half-hour mark at Rodney Parade on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. Leeds Stoke to come in straight after this game at 3 o'clock. Steve Huddersall and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk will be at Ellen Road. We'll chat with Courtney at half-time here on EFL Live. And then Burnley-Sheffield United at 5:30 on Talksport 2. And then Tottenham Hotspur against Nottingham Forest from the Premier League at 8 o'clock, also on Talksport tonight, on a busy Easter Monday. But mostly in the EFL, with only one Premier League game, the one we've got at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tonight. Walsall in possession with Ryan Stirk inside his own half, plays it along to Taylor Allen, along the lines where the rugby 10-metre line is showing. Will clip down the left-hand side looking for Adoma, but hooked out a play by Brennan for a throw to Walsall, pretty much bang on halfway, that Taylor Allen, the Walsall keeper, is going to take. And he's got a Manchi showing down the left-hand side, but instead he's gone short infield to Alfie Chang. Gives it back to Allen, and he's forced to go back via Williams to his goalkeeper, Tommy Simkin. Made that good save earlier on loan from Stoke. Had 3 previous loans in the National League as Simkin. 12 clean sheets in 36, not too shabby for your first loan at senior EFL level, Sam Parkin.
No, he's been good. Obviously had a little period out the side. It coincided with the last time I saw them live at Bromley. That was the night he was left out. I think Matt Sadler kept him in for 4 games, but it was probably just like I think they've been going through, just altering 1 or 2 things, giving people a little bit of a rest, a refresh, and clearly he's the number one.
He gave Sam Hornby 6 games recently with just 1 clean sheet, but Simpkin's got the goalkeeping jersey back. Walsall in possession, just over the halfway line now with Stirk. 31 minutes played, still no score. Walsall desperate for all 3 points. If they get all 3 points, they're back on top of the table. Gordon just keeps it in on this near touchline, and then Allen tries to fire it down the left for Amanchi, but the ball was out of play not long after it left his boot, and Newport get a throw. What's Nelson Jardine thinking at this point, Sam, at 0-0?
Pleased, I would say. Absolutely, the way that they've worked their way back into the game. The front 4, if I include Whitmore in that, I think the game plan is to utilise his athleticism and his want to join in. We've not seen much of Camwa, who in terms of numbers has been their main man this season off the left. He's not had too many opportunities to get on the ball and run at his opposite number, but I think for the last 10-15 they have looked the more likely, so I would suggest he's pleased.
Camera's on his bike trying to get... he slipped as McLaughlin was trying to give him the ball down the left-hand side. Commentator's curse from Sam Parkin. He just slipped on the surface, and that ball just trickled over the dead ball down at the south stand end for a Walsall goal kick to be taken by Simkin, bedecked in all purple this afternoon. The Walsall goalkeeper sends Chang and the centre-halves downfield. He's going to clobber this down, presumably in the general direction of Levi Amanchi. Adoma's up there as well, up against the centre-halves, but it is Amanchi that's going to go up for this header and gets the flick on. Adoma just can't get onto the second ball. It just dropped for Baker, who could clear, and he lobs it downfield. And I have to say, Harry Williams had a massive chunk of Carl Hudlin's shirt there. You could understand why the locals around us were so upset with the manhandling of the Newport striker. But play goes on, and Whitmore trying to get away down the right-hand side to the dead ball line. He gets it all wrong, trying to volley it across the face of goal, but it shanked off the outside of his boot and into the advertising hoardings away to our right. It is still Newport County 0, Walsall 0 on Talksport 2, and we've got 12 minutes to half-time here in South Wales.
Yeah, he took a risk, didn't he, Williams? And they're on to him, the Newport supporters in this terrace down below us. It was a clear foul. What Alan did, though, was a bit special. Just took it out of the sky. First touch, popped it back to his goalkeeper, and Walsall able to build subsequently. Just on the goalkeeper, Dan, I wanted to say, though, the coaching staff are going to be in there during this poor run for so many hours and days, and it's inevitable, really. You're going to look at that as well, changing the goalkeeper just to try and give yourself a better platform, more clean sheets, and ultimately it didn't really happen, hence why they've gone back to Simpkin.
Well, Michael Spellman's just been upended by Alfie Chang, so Newport have won a free kick about 15 yards inside the Walsall territory, just to the right of centre, and it's going to be Michael Spellman, who joined from a free in Sunderland in July. Only ever made one senior appearance for the Black Cats. Couple of goals here. Can play on either side wide. Spellman, he's actually going to leave this free kick for McLaughlin to take. Plays on the left-hand side, but he's right-footed, and he's going to strike this free kick up to the edge of the area. Walsall have their line of defenders on the 18-yard line. In it goes to the near post. Baker tries to turn it back across the face of goal. There's a scramble by the dead ball line, and Newport have won a corner, 0-0.
Yeah, looking at some of the recent games and goals, Dan, in the last couple of days, Newport are having a lot of success from set pieces, and Walsall have been the best in that regard this season, scoring set pieces, but they have to be mindful. The 3 against Harrogate, I think, all came from dead balls, one of their last victories in League Two. So they've got power, and that was probably with Hudlin missing as well. So with him back in the fray, Walsall have got to be mindful of the Newport threat here.
He is the obvious target for any set piece, Kyle Hudlin, being 6'7", but it's gone beyond him to the far post, looking for Brennan, and that forced a Simway, who was marking them, watching the run of Kieran Brennan. He turned it behind for a corner now on this near side, where the south stand meets the Candleston Terrace, 0-0.
Yeah, I think that was twice in quick succession. The Simway opposite sides of the 6-yard box. He defended the first one up against Baker, and there up against Brennan. So a couple of important interventions from him.
So this time Spellman's going to take the corner kick into the near post, flicked across the face of goal by Jellis, but it didn't drop for a Newport player. It's thumped downfield. Antwi is the last player back for Newport, and he just drives the ball into out left to right, looking for Spellman, but it's the other number 21 out there that wins the header, Taylor Allen, but it goes out of play for a Newport County throw on this near side, their right, with Newport attacking the south stand in this first period. Thomas is going to take it, or is he going to leave it for Brennan? No, he is going to take it. Joe Thomas looking for an option. Antwi's come short, collects it now, turns neatly away from Amanchi, and it goes back to halfway, and the two Newport centre halves exchange passes. Now it goes out to McLaughlin, left-hand side. Camwa, faced up by Simway, flicks it down the left-hand side, and Adoma pulls on the arm of Shane McLaughlin. That's surely going to be a yellow card, and is for Albert Adoma for clearly pulling back the Newport left-back as he was getting away and cleared down that far side. 0-0.
Yeah, we've not really seen that from McLaughlin, but it's a really forthright, strong run down the left-hand side, and he just takes Albert Adoma unawares. He's the wrong side, and it's a clear yellow card. It looks like Clark's got a problem, I think, for Newport.
Yeah, he sat down in the centre circle, so this free kick for Newport's going to have to wait, because the physios have been called on to have a look at the Newport captain, James Clark, a former Walsall man, who's got a problem with his right knee. Well, he looks in a little discomfort. It's definitely his right knee that's the problem, and the physios are out there treating to him. So again, it's another chance for it's Newport players actually who are coming over to this near touch line. Carl Hudlin getting some words from his manager Nelson Jardim. Cam were there too, and Thomas, as Baker receives treatment. So a reminder, it's 0-0 here. We played 37 minutes. Walsall need the win to get back to the top of League Two. They were away and clear in January. They were, I think, 12 points clear. And Matt Sadler signed an extension to his contract at that time as well, because everything was just going so swimmingly for the Sadlers at that point.
Yeah, and that's the way of the world now, isn't it? I think he was getting linked to various jobs as well during that spell, because it's probably the part of the season where managers are losing jobs. And hierarchies at clubs in the Championship and League One are looking down the levels and seeing who's doing a great job with a lower budget and who could potentially come in and make that next step in their career. So, yeah, put pen to paper on a longer contract, and obviously since then it's been a really testing time for him, and could have quite well jumped ship maybe and be managing at a higher level now.
Well, James Clark is unable to continue for Newport, so he's gone off, and the player signed from Norwich in January, Jayden Warner, came through the Canaries Academy. He's on to replace him, and he's a tall fella as well, wearing the number 32 for Newport County. And he's gone into the penalty area of Walsall to see if he can get on the end of this free kick that Spellman's going to take on the far left-hand side of the field, just beyond the midway point of the Walsall half. Spellman raises both his arms to the sky, hits it left-footed into the area. Oh, and the keeper came out like Superman and got nowhere near it, but Newport couldn't get a touch either, and Liam Gordon just gleefully thumps it downfield, and it ends up being a Walsall throw as the ball lands on the corrugated roof above our heads. But that was a flashed free kick. Lovely delivery there from Spellman, Sam Parkin. 0-0.
He's got a nice left foot. I think we've seen that already in evidence today with that strike, and then a brilliant delivery right at the spot that you want to pop it into. Combination of Williams and the goalkeeper Simkin getting it away to safety, but yeah, a little bit of a concerning moment. Clearly didn't communicate the two.
Now Chang for Walsall, working it down the right-hand side. Jellis fighting for possession with Antwi. Antwi was just clipped by Jellis as he got the ball clear, and the referee awards County a free kick inside their own penalty area. 8 points clear of the bottom two, Newport County. I think it's safe to say they're going to be performing at this level once again next season. They won the National League 12 years ago now. 2013, when they won the playoff under the late great Justin Edinburgh, who was in charge here at the time. That was after 25 years away from the EFL. And they've come close to winning promotion into League One before now, especially under Michael Flynn. Amanchi for Walsall, making a strong run down the right-hand side. Baker goes out to hold him up. It's rolled back to Asimwe. Somehow keeps the ball in play on that far touchline under pressure from Camwa. Now it's with Alfie Chang, on loan from Birmingham City, into the centre circle, lays it back for Williams. Williams across to Allen, the Walsall skipper, has to give it back to Harry Williams under a bit of pressure. Williams, who's got decent feet himself, works it infield. Chang trying to turn away from the attentions of Brennan. And now a ball up to the edge of the area, just bounces away from Jamie Jellis. He was trying to control it on the half volley, but the ball just skipped away from him on the turf, and Townsend was able to plunge on top of the ball. 4 minutes to half-time, and it's still goalless between Newport County and Walsall. Here's Sam Parkin.
Yeah, clever movement from Jellis. It looked like maybe a Walsall midfield player was going to be dispossessed, but they popped it around nicely in the middle third between Sturk and Chang, and then the opportunity to play into Jellis, who's the one that's going to move and try and burst in beyond. Clever movement, not matched by his touch, which was less than assured.
Asimwe for Walsall. Midway point of his own half, gives it to Okagbue. Gordon calling for it on this near touchline. It's floated out to him, brings it down on his instep, but he's engaged almost immediately by Thomas. Now Sturk making a third man run through midfield, goes for a header with Baker, and Baker comes out on top. If he'd won that flick on, Amanchi could have been in and clear, but instead it's Newport trying to attack down the other end, but Whitmore overhits the pass intended for Spellman down the right-hand side, and Simkin can collect in the Walsall goal. 0-0.
Yeah, not really his game, is it? I think Whitmore's kind of one of those kind of pressing number 10s, isn't he? He's always about all about athleticism and aggression. There, you need a little bit more guile probably to bring Spellman into play and just overhit the pass. But yeah, still very, very even this game. Walsall had the better of the opening exchanges, but it's been a good recovery from the home side, very much in the game.
Bobby Camwood collects the ball just inside the Walsall half, but just couldn't get away from Asimwe. And he's given the ball back by Okagbue, but then Asimwe almost gives it up to McLaughlin. Chang works it up to Amanchi. Good hold-up play, but Jellis runs into Brennan. Brennan just toe-pokes it out of play for a Walsall throw in front of the supporters in that Bisley stand opposite us here at Rodney Parade. Okagbue gives it back to Alfie Chang. He looks up and spots Gordon again, trying to hit another long ball downfield, but it's too straight this time. 3 bounces and it's back through to Townsend. The idea was right from Alfie Chang, and Gordon was in space, but the execution wasn't up to snuff. So Townsend rolls the ball in front of him and clips it downfield, right-footed, looking for Spellman. And Allen heads it out of play for a Newport County throw as we edge towards half-time on your home of the EFL. Talksport 2. Leeds Stoke to come later, straight after this game, and then Burnley Sheffield United. Could the Championship automatic promotion situation be sorted by around about 7:30 this evening? Well, the only way you'll find out is with us across the Talksport network. And we've got Spurs against Forest in the Premier League at 8 o'clock to come as well. You heard, that was Matt Sadler you could hear clapping over everybody else just down beneath us at the edge of the commentary position. His players have won a throw. He must be feeling the pressure, Matt Sadler, wondering where on earth this season has got to. But as we mentioned, Nathan Lowe went back to Stoke in January, recalled, and not played much for Stoke as well, just to rub salt in the wounds. And since Lowe's departure back to the Bet365, it's been a downhill slide for the Saddlers. But unbelievably, given the erratic form of everyone else around them, Sam, they can go top this afternoon. Oh, poor crossfield pass from Matt Baker. Just went way beyond the substitute Jaden Warner. And now Walsall have got a throw high up the field. Taken quickly by Gordon. Williams now will give it back to Liam Gordon, hugging this left-hand touchline. Further down the left goes Taylor Allen, pushing forward again under pressure from Antwi. Antwi got the better of him, but Liam Gordon scampered onto the loose ball and gives it back to Williams. He tries to float it up for Albert Adoma. Only half cleared by Newport. Stirk now trying to turn it down the left-hand side of the box for Allen. We're into 3 minutes of minimum stoppage time at the end of the first half. Allen wins a corner for Walsall, away to our left-hand side. After pressure from the Saddlers, down that left, continued for a good 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, and this is as good an avenue as any. Spoken about Walsall's prowess from dead balls this season. Allen in particular, they're not making much headway in open play. There's not a great deal of space to run behind. It's all in front of Newport at the moment. This is a chance.
Allen's left-footed out-swinging corner, headed to the far post, and there was a push on a Newport player. It's a Newport player that got the touch on the header. I think it might have been Brennan. It's a dangerous ball in from Taylor Allen, but there was a nudge on a player in amber and black, and so the referee, Sam Perkis, awarded Newport a free kick in the danger passes. Stoppage time, 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, as I see it, there's no panic from Walsall. It's not a disaster going in at 0-0, of course. They started the game brightly, playing with 2 10s though, and I would suggest that Adoma and Angelis, neither of them are that comfortable playing in the pocket, taking the ball on the half turn, linking the play. They don't really have a natural number 10, if you like, in the team or on the team sheet this afternoon. So therefore, I think those two want to run towards the opposition's goal, want to get in beyond the centre forward. There's very little space. So the joy is coming in the wide positions through the wing backs.
Adoma's away down the left-hand side for Walsall, lays it back to the edge of the area. Manchi almost got a touch, but Brennan there again with a vital toe-in to get it temporarily clear for Newport County. But Walsall have it back with a Simway down the right-hand side, driving in field. Tries to play a 1-2, goes into the area of Simway, but Whitmore stuck with him like glue all the way and won it back for the hosts. Now it's brought away by Spellman into the centre circle, but he's dispossessed in turn by Stirk, and then Gordon prevents Hudlin from getting onto the ball, and it's worked back to Tommy Simkin, the keeper, and he can clear right-footed downfield. Stirk brings it down. So the 3-4-3 experiment kind of worked, but not quite for Walsall.
That was, again, a good illustration there. A Simway down the right-hand side. It's the best plays come through intricate little bits of pattern passing football through the wing-backs, Gordon and the Simway.
Adoma with a cross into the area this time. Header clear from Baker, comes out to Chang, lays it off to Allen. Allen goes for goal with a first-time effort at the edge of the area, but it whistles over the crossbar. Townsend had it covered, I think, because it was straight over his head, and it's a goal kick to Newport, and it stays 0-0 on Talksport 2.
Probably as good a chance as they've had since the Simway effort early part of the first half, when he kind of marauded into the box right-hand side and got the shot away that was spilt by Townsend. So given his form, his ability to shoot from distance, that was a chance for Allen. So I don't think it has worked, to be completely frank, because I think any kind of attacking impetus has subsided as we've gone through the half. And in that kind of number 10 position, in an ideal world, you want one who's a bit of a creator. We were speaking about David McGoldrick off air, which would be a hell of a luxury. You want someone that can take it in and break down a deep line defence with that little bit of guile.
Well, you just heard the half-time whistle blown by Sam Perkis, and applause from both sets of supporters. I can see the Walsall fans to our right happy that they've kept Newport out. They might change the system and get things going in the second half. Chances have been at a premium in this first 45 minutes. Neither keeper really been called upon, apart from an effort from Michael Spellman for Newport at the edge of the area, crashed towards goal, but it was straight at Walsall keeper Tommy Simpkin, who held on to it well, with Newport players flying in at him, hoping for the bits and pieces. Walsall desperate to get back to the top of the table, but as things stand, they will only go up a place back into third, which would be an automatic spot, but Bradford will play at Chesterfield later with a chance to leapfrog them if it stays like this. At half-time, it is Newport County 0, Walsall 0. Let's get the half-time thoughts of former Walsall striker and our EFL expert Sam Parkin.
Yeah, even game. I think that neither team has done enough to be in front here. I think Walsall started the better. Newport started to get joy through playing into Hudlin, getting runners off him. I think their kind of game plan is clear, is to be quite deep set, to frustrate and look to play direct into the channels outside of the Walsall wing-backs. And they've got good athleticism in Spellman, definitely, and absolutely Whitmore, who has showed real energy but maybe just lacked that little bit of quality to ultimately hurt Walsall. For 20 minutes, I think Matt Sadler would have been pleased with the reaction of his players or the start to this game, but that has definitely subsided. It looks like it's going to be a tough battle. It looks like it could be decided by one goal, and it could come down to the benches with Jamil Matt and potentially Ellis Harrison waiting in wait for the visitors. But yeah, I think Newport have been good as the game's worn on, and Walsall in for a game here, certainly. It
could get increasingly desperate for Walsall to try and find a route to goal in the second half, but they'll be heading for the south stand in the second period, where their supporters are hoping against hope that they can get the job done here, end this barren run of results and go back to the top of League 2. Stay with us on Talksport 2. We'll bring you full exclusive second half commentary of Newport County against Walsall, 0-0 at half time. Very shortly we'll check in at Ellen Road with Courtney Sweetman-Kirk as Leeds United have one foot back in the Premier League. Come 8 o'clock tonight, they could have both feet firmly planted back in the English top flight. We'll preview that game and some of the other EFL stories next here on EFL Live here on Talksport 2.
EFL Live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. There's nothing quite like a McDelivery. You in? 18 plus participating restaurants. Delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com.
Switching to Vodafone full fibre broadband is now as easy as pie. Oh, freshly baked. It's a walk in the park. Hello, little fella. It's like taking candy from a baby. Come on, as if I'd do that. With One Touch Switch, it's easy. We sort everything out for you. We even contact your current provider. Plus, we'll help towards leaving fees. Switch today to full fibre broadband with Vodafone.
Credit of up to £100 to cover leaving fees. Visit vodafone.co.uk/broadband to find out about the switch process and for terms.
Hey Josh, I need some oil and parts for my car, but I'm not sure what I need. Any ideas?
Easy. I went to mymotorworld.com. Just enter your reg number and it'll give you all the correct parts and oil you need.
Really? That sounds simple.
Absolutely. mymotorworld.com has all the leading brands at great prices. You even get free delivery when you spend over £25.
Amazing. I'll definitely try it out. Thanks for the tip.
mymotorworld.com.
Get those jobs sorted this Easter with some great deals at Screwfix. Save £20 on the Titan self-propelled petrol mower, now only $179.99. And stock up on screws with the Turbo Gold Wood Screws Trade Pack, now only $19.99. That's a saving of £30. Don't miss out. These Easter deals must end on the 21st of April. Shop the Screwfix app online or in-store. Subject to availability. See screwfix.com for full T's and C's.
Co-op members now get prices matched to Aldi. Hold on. No way. Okay then, so Co-op members now get everyday essentials price matched to Aldi. So sign up and start saving. Co-op. Owned by you, right by you. I wasn't expecting that.
Co-op member prices matched versus comparable products at Aldi GB. Co-op membership required. Co-op group food stores only. See co.co.uk/Aldi price match.
Magnum Classic Radio Spot, take one. Matt, bite the Magnum Classic at my signal. Remember to emphasise the perfect cracking chocolate and the... Wait for my signal.
Sorry, couldn't resist. Nothing cracks like Magnum. Magnum, true to pleasure.
It's an iconic boxing rivalry, 30 years in the making. Win a pair of tickets to watch Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn only on Talksport with DAZN. Enter now at Talksport.com and KO the other contenders in an on-air battle of boxing brainpower to get your gloves on the prize. It's destined to be a seismic cultural moment in British boxing history, and you could be ringside. Courtesy of Talksport and DAZN. Enter online now at Talksport.com/win.
The sports machine turns you on to the power of live football.
He fires it at beauty.
EFL Live on Talksport 2.
Time to play the game. Massive day in the championship promotion race. Time to play the game. Leeds United are back on top, courtesy of a 2-1 win over Preston. To the far post, brilliant goal. Matt O'Sullivan, their top flight dream, is coming sharply into focus. The final score, Oxford United 0, Leeds United 1.
This is a big push for Leeds. This is a big moment. This sees them probably go and win now the championship.
You've got to give Daniel Farker and his side a lot of credit.
This league is relentless. You have to become relentless yourself, and this is what we are at the moment.
Stroke, header, saved. Nonto has drilled it in. What an impact!
The big test for us now is we've got Leeds United away on Monday, and that's something that I want to refocus everybody on as quickly as possible so we can go and finish this season off strongly.
And it's high towards Gallagher! And Sam Gallagher equalises! What a comeback from Stoke City! Championship side have not given up!
I mean, I think they're nigh on home and host. They should go up.
I do honestly think that Leeds have got the strength in depth and the quality to go up in one of them automatic positions.
Leeds, a big step closer to the championship title.
Welcome back to Rodney Parade on your home of the EFL Talksport 2. I'm Ian Danter, Sam Parkin alongside me. You are listening to Newport 0, Walsall 0. That's reached half-time here in the EFL, live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Enjoy a tasty night in, delivered to your door with McDelivery. But once we're done here with the second half, we'll be off to Ellen Road. So, off to West Yorkshire from South Wales. Leeds United, so close to being back in the Premier League. They're at home to Stoke City. Delighted to say that Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, former Liverpool and Sheffield United women's striker, is waiting to speak to us up at Allen Road. How are you, C?
I'm very well, Dance. How are you, mate?
All good, thank you. Sun's out here. Don't know what the weather's like up in West Yorkshire.
Definitely not here. It's tipping it down, mate.
Is it? Well, you know, that'll help the surface. But you were at the Kazam on Good Friday when Leeds got the job done at Oxford. I should imagine it was the feeling of euphoria and the feeling like it's nearly there amongst the Leeds players and staff when the full-time whistle went.
Yeah, I would say so. And I was actually here previously for the Preston game at Ellen Road. So especially that game at Ellen Road last week, it didn't feel like job done, but you know how it is, Dance, when you're in a stadium and it's a different feeling. It's almost you can feel what the fans are thinking by the reactions, by the atmosphere, in comparison to obviously when you watch it on TV and stuff like that. And that, I felt that a big moment. And then again at the Kazam, it was, for me, they didn't really get out of second gear. They did the job. It was about maybe, I wouldn't even say conserving energy, but we know over this Easter period it's absolutely bonkers, so the turnaround is ever so quick. So it was a case of job done. Obviously Dan James coming back into the side as well after injury, him getting a few minutes I think was a positive thing. Everyone come through that game unscathed, but the goal itself at the Kazam for me was incredible. It was just that moment of a flick of a switch, the defence splitting pass from Roden, the way it comes then into Bogle, fantastic ball, the type of ball that for me as a centre forward or any forward player, your eyes light up because it's just whipped in across the 6-yard box, and it was really simple for Solomon. So yeah, again, you see the way that they go over and celebrate with the fans. They know that they're obviously on the precipice of something very, very big again.
So there you go. Crisis. What crisis? We were talking 3 weeks ago that, you know, Meslier was throwing them in. Leeds were in terrible straits and they were going to get swallowed up by Burnley and Sheffield United. It just goes to show you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it can change. Obviously, the manager makes a decision on the goalkeeper as well. And I think that's an important thing to talk about, the way that Daniel Farke has managed this side. I think that was a big moment for him, that he had to make that big decision. It's a big call, and so far it seems to have paid off. So yeah, between that, they've sort of had their wobble, I think, and I said this before the Preston game, I think they had their wobble. Now this is the opportunity to really push forward. And then, conversely, you look at, the likes of Sheffield United, one of my old clubs, and they've wobbled at completely the wrong time. And sometimes that's not all it is, but it's just unfortunate. There's times in the season where you can almost afford to do it, and there's the moments where you can bring yourself back in, whereas Sheffield United, the timing's been absolutely atrocious, as well as some of the performances, and Burnley as well. They've been brilliant, obviously, we know, defensively all season, and I questioned them probably 2 months ago now, maybe a little bit longer, saying yes, brilliant defensively, but I didn't see enough from them going forward to think that they could go up to automatically. But again, they've changed that. They've worked on that. Scott Parker said it. The players have said it. And, kicking into form at exactly the right time for them.
Courtney, make a case for Stoke making a game of it today, because I think, along with Watford and probably Norwich, I'll be astonished if Stoke go down from this position. I think this is the perfect game for Leeds today, more or less.
Yeah, it would be. And look for Stoke in terms of, relatively throughout the whole of their season. There hasn't been a slight upturn in form. And you're right, I think when you look at the teams below them, it's got to take something absolutely spectacular for them to go down. But, I think for Stoke, it's not a free hit, because obviously they're in a position where every point counts. But everyone's coming here today expecting Leeds to win, expecting them to put the pressure on Sheffield United. They come and get the 3 points here at Ellen Road at home, where we know the atmosphere is so incredible and so raucous. For them to go off at a canter, and then obviously they're watching the game later. But within that moment, you can have complacency, and I think that's where you make an argument for Stoke. They've got to come and make sure that they don't get overawed by the occasion themselves, and they're not also the ones expecting Leeds to run away with this.
And just finally, Courtney, before we let you go, it's almost 3 promotions now for Daniel Farke, 2 with Norwich, 1 with Leeds, but his relationship with the supporters hasn't been entirely plain sailing. Do you foresee that he'll be the Leeds manager come the start of next season in the Premier League?
Oh, I would think so. If you get a team promoted and look, they're hitting targets along the way in terms of their best points total, scoring goals, and I think actually their defence is something that goes under the radar, because Burnley have been so obscenely stingy with their defence. Actually, Leeds have been so good defensively as well. So look, I'd be very surprised if they get promoted. And as I think they will be promoted champions. You have to start with him. I suppose the question is, if they get into next season, into the Premier League, and they start not so fast, and there's a run of the first 10 games where they don't do so well, that's when he'll be under pressure. But for now, I can't see them at the start of next season, which I think will be in the Premier League, Daniel Farke not being the manager to start with.
Courtney, brilliant stuff. Enjoy the game, and we'll speak to you very soon. Thanks, Dan. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, former Liverpool and Sheffield United women's striker, is going to be alongside Steve Huddersall for commentary of Leeds United against Stoke. We'll cross to Steve and Courtney once we're done here at Rodney Parade, where the sun's back out, and so are the Walsall players for the start of the second half. Remember, it's 0-0 here at the break against Newport County. Walsall outside the automatic promotion spots. A win would take them back to the top of the table ahead of Port Vale and Bradford and Doncaster playing their games this afternoon. No apparent changes that I can see from Walsall at the start of the second half, and the Newport players also emerge from that tunnel down to our right hand side where the Candleston Terrace meets the South Stand, and I can't see any changes further to Newport to what they had to make in the first half. So it will be for Newport, Nick Townsend in goal, Joe Thomas, Jaden Warner, who came on for the stricken James Clark in the first half, Matt Baker and Shane McLaughlin making up the rest of the back 4, Cameron Antwi, Kieran Brennan and Kai Whitmore in midfield, Michael Spellman and Bobby Camwer supporting Carl Hudlin in attack. For Walsall, Tommy Simkin, their goalkeeper, David Okagbue, Harry Williamson, Taylor Allen in the back 3, Nathan Osimwe, Ryan Sturck, Alfie Chang and Liam Gordon across midfield, and 2 number 10s, Albert Adoma and Jamie Jellis playing behind Levi Amanchi in attack. We are ready for the off. Newport in their amber shirts and black shorts, black and amber socks. They're going to be kicking towards that North Terrace, which is only populated by several spectators. It's a closed stand to all intents and purposes at the moment. Away to our left, Walsall in their change strip of white shirts with red shorts and socks, heading for the south stand to our right as myself and Sam Parkins sit right at the rear of the single-tier Candleston Terrace with that overhanging stand, which means we can only see a little bit of the Bisley stand opposite, first 3 or 4 rows, and then we can't see a dicky. But it's much like being at Nottingham Forest, actually, when you go and work at the City Ground as a broadcaster. You don't get much of a view of the Brian Clough stand opposite you at the City Ground. So we're underway. Newport kicking from right to left then as we look, and the ball sent downfield for Whitmore, trying to get the better of Williams down the right-hand side for the Exiles, and he does well, wriggles clear of challenges, gets up to the edge of the area, drives at Taylor Allen, who just puts a foot on it to guide it behind for an early corner at the start of this second half for Newport County, 0-0.
Yeah, and that's what he's about, Whitmore. He's all energy, he's aggression, he doesn't mind the physical side of the game, so when they go tight there, he likes that contact, able to roll them, and unfortunately for him, once more, just that lack of end product is evident.
So the corner kick sent in by Spellman, but well caught on his 6-yard line by Tommy Simkin. And he will keep the ball in his hands. Of course, from next season, you can't keep the ball in your hands for more than 8 seconds if you're a goalkeeper. Let's see how well that rule is policed next season, shall we, Sam?
It's a job for the punters, isn't it, to get the counting going. We always like that now, don't we? But when they're bringing a rule in, rubbing their hands together.
I used to love that when Birmingham City won a free kick and the referee was pacing out the 10 yards. The fans would go 1, 2, 3, 4 as he's doing for each pace, and then a huge way when he reached 10. Childish, but I love it. Newport have a throw on the right-hand side. The sun is very much out here. It was a very gloomy South Wales first thing in the morning, but the sun is out. Barely a breath of wind. Perfect conditions for a bit of Easter football on Talksport 2, but it's goalless between Newport County and Walsall. Ball's knocked back to the Newport keeper, Nick Townsend. Baker collects it from him under a bit of pressure from Amanchi. McLaughlin with the first-time right-footed ball over halfway. Amanchi will try and hold it up as Walsall send it back into the Newport half, but offside against Amanchi, who has been a handful. You said that before kick-off, Sam Parkin, that he would put himself about a bit, but he's just not had a chance to get an effort on goal or get in behind the Newport back line.
Yeah, bright early, and that's definitely subsided, but that's them collectively as an attacking force. I think the tail end of that first half will have been really frustrating for the supporters and the management team alike, so they need to get back to what they did the early part of the game. And again, just to make that point once more, when they've had to play in the wide positions and kind of had the overload in that area of the pitch, whether it be Gordon on the left-hand side or Simwe over here, when they've been joined with a few teammates and they've had to be a little bit more intricate and kind of make passes to make inroads into the final third, they look like a decent side and look like they might be able to fashion opportunities. The front three, they're not connected with the team at the moment, and I think that's something I'm sure Matt Sadler will be thinking about already, but something he will definitely affect if they don't get the goal in the next 15-20 minutes.
Here's Bobby Camworth for Newport, drifting infield from the left-hand touchline, rides the challenge of Okagbue, still holds onto it, then works it left for Antwi. Antwi knows he's got McLaughlin left-hand side, but it's actually threaded through to Whitmore, just down the left-hand side of the area, but Harry Williams dealt with that very comfortably indeed at the back for Walsall. Asimwe hits a long ball down this right-hand side, looking for Amanchu, scrapping for possession with Baker, and Baker holds him off well and gets it back to the keeper, and Townsend will drive it right-footed downfield. Camera, he brings it down superbly with Asimwe having a chunk of his shirt. Referee let play go, and then eventually he gives Walsall a free kick, much to the annoyance of the Newport supporters around us, because we could see Asimwe had a massive chunk of Bobby Camworth's shirt in the build-up to that free kick being awarded. 0-0.
Yeah, and the frustrating thing for Newport is that Camworth's really intelligent the way he's positioned himself. He's got his studs on the ball, he's feeling the Walsall defender who's clearly tugging his shirt, so I think that was missed by the officials. Ultimately it was a foul in the next phase, but they should have had the award initially.
Taylor Allen in possession for the Saddlers. Hits a long ball down the left-hand side. Jellis making a run. Bounces over his head. Might run for Amanchi, but it's cleared away instead by Baker. Brennan with a neat touchdown for the left-back, McLaughlin. Midway point of his own half. Tucks it in field to Antwi. Antwi knows he's got Jamie Jellis at his back, closing down the space. So he rolls it back for Matt Baker, and he lofts a high ball up for Hudlin, who chests it down on halfway, despite the attentions of Williams. It's been a fairly even contest between those two, hasn't it, Hudlin and Williams? Neither one's really got on top.
Yeah, he had a period, didn't he, maybe 10 minutes in the first half where his touch was nice and assured, and they were able to find that space in front of him to clip balls into. But yeah, he's not been able to affect things really close to the Walsall goal, which Nelson Jardine will be looking to improve on in this second half, I'm sure.
Walsall hurriedly clear from the edge of their own penalty area, but it's won back by Newport. Down the left-hand side with Whitmore. Now Camera on the left wing, checking the ball onto his right foot, gives it back to Whitmore. Left-hand corner of the area, twisting and turning, gets a shot in, but it's come to be held by Simpkin at his near post, and it stays 0-0.
Well, the first bit was brilliant, the little body swerve from Whitmore, getting himself inside the 18-yard box. The second bit, not so good, just didn't deliver any quality whatsoever on his left side.
Liam Gordon dispossessed by Spellman, but then as Spellman brought it downfield, Taylor Allen holding off Whitmore, who's had a bit too much of a nibble at him, and the referee's given Walsall a free kick. I saw Kyle Hudlin come through the system at Solihull Moors, and he was part of the Solihull Moors team. They got all the way to the playoff final at the London Stadium a few years ago, and they were leading Grimsby Town, and it's not an exaggeration to say that when he got nobbled and went off, Solihull were not the same team, and Grimsby ended up getting promoted.
That's right.
I think he moved to Huddersfield a bit too soon. He's on loan from the Terriers here at Newport. Just hasn't clicked for him.
It's quite interesting where he's pitched up, because you'd think that you'd have to be really one-dimensional to have him in the team. I've touched on, I think he's a better footballer than he probably gets credit for, because his touch is quite assured. But there's actually a nice variety about Newport's play. They go long on occasions, but they look to play as well with two good footballing centre halves. Obviously we've lost one in Clark this afternoon, but they've got players that are comfortable on the ball.
Throw into Walsall. We played 6 minutes of the second half on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. It is 0-0. Walsall fans behind that goal that Walsall are attacking away to our right in the south stand, looking on as Harry Williams prepares to take a long throw and hurl it into the Newport County penalty area. Steps up to this near touchline, gets good distance on the throw. Down goes Okagbue. Nothing given by the referee. Headed out to the edge of the box by Warner. Stirk wins it back for Walsall. Chang goes for goal, a snapshot, but it's well wide. A good 3 or 4 yards wide of Townsend's right-hand post, and County get a goal kick. 0-0.
He doesn't get many, but I was anticipating Stirk to shoot there on his left side. Just turned down that opportunity. Ball bounced. He tidied it up, shifted it to his midfield partner in Chang. And I think, a little bit of optimism for the Walsall supporters behind that goal. Since the opening exchanges, they've not had enough on Townsend's goal whatsoever. So I think encouraged by that shot, even though it whistled a couple of yards past the far post.
Townsend thumps the right-footed goal kick downfield. Doesn't reach Hudlin this time. It's headed back into the Newport half by Allen. Up goes Williams, loses out to Hudlin that time, but there was nobody running in behind the Newport striker. So again, Allen hooks it clear for Walsall. And then a foul by Amanchi on Baker. No, actually not given. The referees allowed play to go on because the ball just rolled through to Nick Townsend. But I think the Newport fans feel they're not getting the rub of the green from referee Sam Perkis here this afternoon.
Yeah, I think you get that when you've got a physical centre forward on either side. It's a good battle between him and Baker. Baker's getting the upper hand at the moment, I would suggest. And there he was just trying to position himself. Amanchi, the arm goes out and up early, and he looked to catch the Newport defender in the face. I thought that was a foul.
Well, there's Newport players warming up away to our left-hand side, but no sign of any Walsall players being asked to do a few stretches from Matt Sadler. Meantime, Newport have won a free kick. 8 minutes gone in the second half. Still goalless. Still Walsall unable to find the goal that would take them back to the top of the League 2 table, ahead of the 3 o'clock kickoffs, where Port Vale, Bradford and Doncaster can all get back in front of them if things go their way. Joe Thomas with a cross into the Walsall box, headed away by Akagbue, only picked up by Whitmore for the Exiles. Has it near the left-hand corner of the penalty area, fires it into the feet of Camwa, who did well to control it under pressure from Asimwe, works it back to McLaughlin, right-footed ball into the box from the man who's now assumed the captain's armband after Clark went off. Adoma tries to bring the ball clear for Walsall, but across comes the substitute Jaden Warner to put it out of play. You're listening to Newport 0, Walsall 0 in the EFL live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Enjoy a tasty night in delivered to your door with McDelivery. Ian Danter and Sam Parkin with you at Rodney Parade. We'll be off to Ellen Road as soon as we're done here for all the build-up, and then full live exclusive national radio commentary of Leeds United against Stoke City with Steve Hothersall and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. And Steve will bring us the team news from there in around about 20 minutes' time. Levi Amanci for Walsall. Can he keep the ball in play? No, he can't at the dead ball line. He wriggled his way clear of Jaden Warner, but just ran out of room on that far side. And now there are Walsall players who've gone to warm up, not least the former Newport County striker and another big man, Jamil Matt, is going through his exercises. Maybe we'll see him sooner rather than later.
I'm sure it'll be one of those nice rarities where a former player comes back to a club and probably gets a nice little rapturous round of applause. I saw him being welcomed back by various staff members before kick-off, and he was talismanic for Newport over that successful period.
Walsall very nearly got him behind as Adoma tried to loft it over the back line for either Amanci or Jellis to get in behind, but Newport did well to get the ball back. It's up to Hudlin on halfway, but as the ball was rolled to him by Spellman, he was caught. Free kick to Newport, just shy of the halfway line. Frustrating afternoon for Matt Sadler.
And Gary Waddock's down there taking the substitutes who are probably imminently going to come into play.
Yeah, there's
through
a right conflag going on down there with the playbook.
He's got his notepad out, so yeah, maybe potentially going to do 3, and it does just feel like the tide has turned here a little bit. They look the more likely Newport, and as an attacking force lost their way, Walsall, no question.
Hudlin in the centre of the Walsall half does well, rolls it wide to Thomas down the right hand side of the area looking for Spellman, and he ran out of room. He couldn't keep the ball in play, much the same as happened at the other end with Amanci. And so Walsall now get a goal kick. 11 minutes gone in the second half. Newport County 0, Walsall 0. If you're just tuning into EFL Live on a bumper day of live football commentaries across the network with Burnley, Sheffield United at 5:30 on Talksport, followed by Tottenham Hotspur against Nottingham Forest at 8 p.m. Not forgetting Leeds Stoke coming up straight after this here on Talksport 2, your home with the EFL. And when it comes to the playoffs, we'll bring you every game. No other radio station can or will provide you with commentary on every playoff match in the EFL. Ball in from Camworth to the Walsall area. Hudlin trying to run across the goalkeeper and get ahead of him, but he couldn't get there in time, and Simcoe could claim with his arms aloft. 0-0.
Nice ball in. I don't think he's had an attempt yet, has he, Hudlin? He's not had an opportunity, and that's one of the first times they've sourced the 18-yard box. Camworth's done some good work, but he's been unable to get into a position to cross and look for his centre forward. So encouraging in a way, but need to supply him with a little bit more to go with.
Williams for Walsall into the feet of Adoma, who can turn and run down the left-hand side, trying to get away from the challenge of Thomas, and he's won a throw by the 22 in the rugby parlance, because you can see the lines painted on the pitch here from when rugby union is played at Rodney Parade. Now Liam Gordon rolls the ball back to Okabue inside the centre circle. Now Chang takes over for Walsall, gives it back to Okabue. He drives the ball into the feet of Jellis further down the field. Now Asimwe gives the ball back to Jellis down the right hand side, trying to turn inside Whitmore, but Kai Whitmore did well, stuck to his task. Camworth now. Oh, lovely flick to get Whitmore away inside his own half. Camworth's on his bike to get away from Asimwe. And now Camworth tries to play a ball with that side of his right boot. He'd done everything so well up to that point, Bobby Camworth, and they'd tried to find Michael Spellman and got the ball all wrong for his forward partner. 0-0. Walsall in possession. Ryan Stirk on halfway. Spellman's moving a little awkwardly. I think he's going to have to come off for Newport. Looks like he's got a problem with his hamstring or his knee. It's his hamstring, isn't it? Left hamstring for Michael Spellman. He's going to be off sooner rather than later. Here come Walsall. Taylor Allen out to the left-hand side for Liam Gordon. Level with the 18-yard line. Works it infield to Jellis. Plays a quick 1-2 with Stirk. Asimwe and lots of space on this near side. Amanci in the edge of the D. Gets a shot away, but it's weak and well claimed by Nick Townsend. Diving away to his right-hand side. Spellman has now gone down, clutching his left hamstring. Physios are going to come on to treat him. And not only will that probably signify a change for Newport. That probably means we're going to see these changes happening for Walsall as well. Maybe all three at once in one go. Let's see, Sam Parkin. 0-0 here.
Well, they should be encouraged by that last little move because they've had the ball so often 40, 50 yards from the Newport goal in central midfield, and they've not been able to engineer a shooting opportunity there. Nice exchange between Adoma and Manchi. Had actually done the hard work, I think, taking the ball under his spell, getting the yard of space, but then he was too anxious to get the strike away. Probably could have taken another touch, maybe assessed his options, little snapshot, and it's really easy for Townsend once more. So better from Walsall, but not enough, I don't think, to stop themselves from making those changes, which are inevitable now, I think.
Well, Spellman still lying flat on his back, getting treatment inside his own half. I can't see him continuing. He was moving so awkwardly after that attack where he was almost found by Bobby Camworth. But that will be it for Michael Spellman. There are changes being readied just down underneath us in the Newport technical area. Two benches right next to each other on the halfway line. But it remains to be seen whether Newport make that enforced change before Walsall make their tactical changes. Fourth official's got the board, Dale Baines. And he is going to hold the board up in a minute. He's been told what Newport are doing. So Spellman gets some applause from the locals as he comes off to this near touchline. Clearly unable to continue. And it's going to be Josh Martin who's going to come on for him. Came on a free transfer to Newport from Notts County. Plays as a central midfielder or a left midfielder, so it's a straight swap really. Spellman off, Martin on. Former Norwich City Academy graduate, hasn't scored yet in 14 appearances for County. That would have been interesting if they replaced number 1 with number 8. So the changes have been made by Newport. In fact, they're going to bring on Anthony Glennon as well. And they're going to take off Kai Whitmore. And you mentioned how useful Anthony Glennon is as a creator for Newport County, Sam Parkin.
Yeah, it might mean that McLaughlin has to alter his position. He's a very versatile customer. He might go into midfield. He's just having a conversation now with Glennon. Yeah, brilliant dead ball striker, lovely left foot. Glennon, 8 assists. I think the most chances created by the distance for Newport this season. So, yeah, they've missed him only the one game at MK Dons and for a half or so here, but he's a big part of their attacking Arsenal.
Walsall potential substitutes have just gone for another run in that empty space behind the goal away to our left-hand side, but looks almost certain that Jamil Matt and Connor Barrett are going to be coming on for the Saddlers. We played just over an hour. Back underway on Talksport 2 with the game still goalless. Walsall still looking for that crucial goal and the win that would take them back to the top of the table after such a wretched early 2025. Okagbue with a crossfield ball over hit, intended for Taylor Allen. Goes straight out of play. And that gives Newport County a throw just over the halfway line. And the Walsall players have been called back by Matt Sadder. This may well be the point where the changes are made with 63 minutes gone at Rodney Parade.
Yeah, McLaughlin is into midfield now, and Antwi's just stepped forward now into the position which Whitmore was occupying.
And Antwi's after the ball down the right-hand side of the area, forces Okagbue to put it behind for a Newport County corner. So Antwi making a nuisance of himself very soon after going into that more advanced position. Corner to the Exiles, 0-0.
And probably an opportune moment to say how impressed I've been with Antwi today. He's a quite unusual profile for a central midfield player in that I think his strength is his technique. He's really easy on the eye, lovely ball-playing midfielder, probably going to be more suited to being a number 10 where he can provide a bit of guile in the final third. But I've enjoyed watching him play today. Does things nice and tidy, nice and simple.
Well, Glennon straight on the corners, whips it in left-footed into the near post, headed away for Walsall by Jellis, straight back to Glennon. Glennon puts it back into the area. This time it's Okagbue gets a touch and Jellis just hooks it clear towards the halfway line. Antwi's waiting as the last man, drives it diagonally back into the Walsall half. Thomas brings it down very neatly, lobs it into the area. Hudlin's going to fight for this. Out comes the keeper, claims it well. Tommy Simkin had to make that. because he'd left his goal line exposed if he hadn't, but he clutched onto it and it stays 0-0 on Talksport 2.
Yeah, just thought for a moment that he was going to cause real panic there, huddling. I don't know, maybe would have been better suited trying to head that as it came out of the sky. I think he just lost his bearings and dangled a leg, but Simkin, not for the first time, done pretty well in that 6-yard box, just alleviating the pressure on his side.
Allen for Walsall. Oh, he's pressurised by Brennan, who's taken off him. Martin down the right-hand side of the area, clips it across beyond Hudlin. Oh, and Camwood tried to improvise a volley from around 12 yards out, got it all wrong, put his hands over his face. So disgusted with his own effort. Goes out of play, and here come the changes for Walsall, starting with Connor Barrett, who's going to come on for Liam Gordon. Barrett, who's made 50 appearances, hasn't scored since he moved from Fylde in July. Levi Amanchi is coming off so that Jamil Matt, the former Newport County striker,
and replacing number 22, Jamie Jealous, is number 9, Jamil Matt.
Also, George Hall is coming on for Jamie Jealous. Hall on loan from Birmingham City. And Jamil Matt, who made 97 appearances for Newport and scored 26 goals between 2018 and 2020. Not only does he come on, but he takes the captain's armband as well. Back against his old club. He's got 25 minutes to make an impression and try and find this goal that would take Walsall back top of the table, leapfrogging 3 sides in the process. 0-0. Taylor Allen on halfway. Asimwe now on the left-hand side, with Barrett having come on right-hand side. Asimwe switch flanks. Tucked back by Chang for Asimwe, now driving in field. Plays it out left for Taylor Allen. Stirk takes over. Now Hall, his first involvement, finds Adoma out to Asimwe, left-hand side. Can he get the cross into the box? There's 4 waiting. In it comes Albert Adoma with a header. Just missed him and just evaded Jamil Matt on the far post as well. And Adoma can't believe he didn't get the purchase he wanted on that header. Big chance for Walsall, 0-0.
Yes, a little floated the delivery, so you're still looking to get a little bit of power on the header, but just missed time by Adoma. Obviously, Jamil Matt, we're probably talking about a different outcome there if he's positioned in the near post space, but Adoma, the biggest chance Walsall have had since the break, absolutely.
Yeah, not known for his heading, Albert Adoma.
No.
And he just saw the ball skim off his forehead and then drop beyond Jamil Matt at the far post. Meanwhile, Newport have won themselves a free kick inside the Walsall half, 10 metres in. Quarter of the game to go. And Walsall are going to get increasingly desperate, you sense here. I think they want all 3. I don't think they think a point's enough here today, Sam.
No, I mean, we can get so carried away, and it's a dangerous game to look at the fixtures. They're pretty nice for Walsall, that remain. So it's on, isn't it, to win the 3 games clearly, then they're promoted, given that Doncaster play Bradford. So they need to go for it at some stage here, Dance.
Glennon with the free kick into the Walsall box. That's straight at Simkin, comfortably claimed. Yes, Walsall's remaining fixtures are at home to lowly Accrington Stanley and then away at Crewe on the last day of the season. 0-0. Quarter of the game to go on Talksport 2. Back it goes to Taylor Allen. Rolls it across to Harry Williams. Williams plays it over the halfway, looking for Hall, intercepted by McLaughlin, but he's been out-muscled, and Connor Barrett now driving forward. Hall to his right-hand side, can't quite get onto the pass intended for him. In slid Baker to get it clear. But Walsall have got their tails up, it seems, at the moment. Adoma again, inside right channel for the Saddlers, up to the corner of the area. Tries to cross it in, it's blocked by a combination of Glennon and McLaughlin. And now, a chance for a counter-attack. Here come Newport County with Bobby Camwer down the left-hand side. Space for Josh Martin on the right. He tried to find him, but the pass was poor. Picked off by Asimwe. Asimwe into the feet of Matt, lays it off to Stirk on halfway. Chang gives it back to Stirk. Goes out left to Asimwe, who switched flanks after the substitutions. Poor touch from Asimwe allows Joe Thomas to get it back. Hudlin knows he's offside, thought about going after it, but he was a good 2 or 3 yards clear of Okagbue. 0-0 it stays. Stirk, good ball, finds George Hall, space to gallop into left-hand side. Adoma wants it rolled across in the area, and it was comfortably cleared away by Brennan, and that's going to be a Walsall corner kick at the south stand end in front of those Walsall fans, 0-0.
Yeah, they can sense what a big few minutes of the season this could be for Walsall. This could be a real game changer for them, just to give them the impetus, the confidence, and the fans are sensing that behind the goal.
Taylor Allen with this left-footed outswinger where the Bisley stand meets the South stand. Packed 6-yard box, Hall waiting around the penalty spot. Play that to the near post and it's flicked by Chang. Trying to improvise a finish and it goes out of play, and Nick Townsend's gone down, sitting inside his goal, wanting a bit of treatment. Now, is this housery? Is this a genuine injury, or is this a chance for Nelson Jardine to bring his players over for a bit of a conflab?
Well, they're giving the game away because 2 centre-halves and the goalkeeper went down there, so the message has been lost somewhere, or too many of them have got it.
Yeah.
I would suggest it's maybe, well, we don't know about Townsend, but maybe they're just going to come and just try and defuse this little bit of Walsall pressure that was building. The reality is here, Dan, this game could get incredibly open because there's going to be a degree of freedom about the Newport lads now. They know their fate. Let's face it, they're going to be in the division next season, so there isn't that same pressure. And we're seeing that a little bit. It's getting a bit stretched. You know, can one of those guys finish the season with a nice winning goal against one of the teams in the automatic race? Are Walsall going to get their season fully back up and running?
Assuming this is housery from a goalkeeper, and we've seen it. Of course, the goalkeeper doesn't have to wait for 30 seconds on the touchline after his injury is cleared up.
I would love that to be the case.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Why not just have that the same for goalkeepers as for outfield players? That'd be fun.
All the lads would be well versed in being a rush goalie as well, wouldn't they? No problem. Stick someone back there, can't use your hands.
Whilst we have this break in play, Townsend's back on his feet, incidentally. Another change being made by Walsall, and Alfie Chang is coming off to be replaced by Oisin McAtee, who came on a free transfer from Newcastle United. Is a centre-back, hasn't scored this season, didn't make any senior appearances for Newcastle United, but he's going into central midfield by the looks of things. He's replacing Chang like for like, positionally speaking.
Yeah, he can play either role, so Chang's been neat and tidy, him and Stirk. You want a little bit more for them, but I suppose they've had the 3 in there, so it was just about adding the control, given they were a man light in the central midfield area.
Townsend's made an incredible comeback, and he's taken the goal kick downfield. Newport nodding it up to the edge of the box, cleared away by Stirk. Hall tries to lob it up to the halfway line. Matt and Adoma giving chase, but it drifts away from both of them and out for a Newport throw. So 18 minutes left, still goalless on Talksport 2 between Newport County and Walsall. Newport all but safe, but it's all about whether Walsall can find a goal that would take them back to the top of the table. But Newport are holding them out. I can't think of a save that Nick Townsend has had to make in these 72 minutes we've had so far. Matt up against his old club, lays it up on halfway for McAtee, and he'll send it downfield for George Hall, but McKenzie's ball is just too far ahead of the Birmingham City loanee. And here come Newport with Glennon wanting an option, holding his hands out to his side, saying, give me an option, guys. He didn't feel he had one. So back it goes to Townsend. Oh, Townsend drives it downfield, and it just avoids the flying in McKenty. Quickly taken throw from Walsall. Hall down by the corner flag. Prevents a goal kick. Has he? No, it's been given as a goal kick. He couldn't keep it in play. Bit of quick thinking from Connor Barrett, but it didn't find its target. And the seconds tick away here, 0-0.
Yeah, another obvious option would be to get Ellis Harrison on there, and you have Matt and Harrison as the front two. I think the reality is that he's going to have to be managed, Harrison, through the next few weeks of the season, given that he's been out with a muscle injury, and also that's almost an admission that the 3-4-3 hasn't worked, I think, after only giving it 70 minutes or so. So Hall and Adoma still playing as the dual number 10s. Can they get that goal, playing the system that they've opted to go with today, or does he revert to a front two and almost tell the supporters that it didn't quite work out as you would have hoped?
As it stands, Walsall are going into the top 3 ahead of Bradford on goal difference. Here's Albert Adoma making a run through now into the area left-hand side, shoots against the defender Baker and wins Walsall a corner, and Adoma trying to whip up the fans behind that stand to our right-hand side. 0-0.
Well, good play from Jamil Matt, and we've not seen that at all from Walsall this afternoon. A runner in behind the centre forward. Yes, the space is opening up now to a degree, and it's good movement from Adoma. Just called for a little bit more guile and poise there to potentially cut in field of Baker before getting his strike away.
So another Taylor Allen corner for Walsall. Hit to the 6-yard line, headed away by the giant Kyle Hudlin at the back, and then headed further clear by Josh Martin, but Barrett's there on halfway to retrieve it. Now Taylor Allen drifting down the left-hand side, runs into Antwi, gets across and calmly puts it out of play for a Walsall throw. Back it goes to Humphreys. We'll check in at Ellen Road in just a minute because team news is ready as the ball's overhit by the Asimwe, the midfielder. So let's get that team news ahead of our next exclusive commentary. Leeds United against Stoke City in the Championship. Kicks off at 3. Team news from Steve Hothersall.
Thank you, Dan. Well, of course, on what could be a day of destiny for Leeds, Daniel Farker sticks with the 11 that beat Oxford on Good Friday. No Dan James involved in the squad, though. He didn't look right against Oxford. So on the bench for Leeds, a young man with a special bloodline, Harry Gray, 16-year-old brother of Archie, yet to make his senior debut, and the home fans may have another special talent to enjoy. Mark Robbins making 2 changes for Stoke from the win against Sheff Wednesday. Al Hamadi starts up front instead of Sam Gallagher. Wilson Esbrand starts at left back in what has been a problem position for the Potters. Could be a special day here in Yorkshire. 3 o'clock kickoff at Ellen Road.
Corner kick to Walsall back here at Rodney Parade. 15 minutes to go. Goalless. Walsall desperate for a goal. And they have a corner to be taken by Taylor Allen from this right-hand side. Goes deep to the far post. Heads go up and it's headed into the side netting by Harry Williams. And he thumps his arms against his sides in frustration that he didn't get it on target. But the angle was very tight. And Townsend had that near post covered anyway. So it's a goal kick to the Exiles. 0-0 it stays. Sam Parkin.
Yeah, I mean, half a chance at best there. A bit of a mismatch. Williams positioned himself on McLaughlin momentarily. The ball found him, but the angle wasn't good. It can only work it into the side netting. So again, not enough on Townsend's goal. I think throughout the piece, really, that's got to be the big frustration. They've not been asked that many questions defensively, but that creative spark sorely missing right now for Walsall.
Well, Newport looking for a spark, and one of the biggest names in football, Courtney Baker-Richardson, a name so big it barely fits on the back of his shirt. He's going to be on in a minute, I assume, for Hudlin in a straight swap, striker for striker. They're going to make the change in a moment, but Walsall have got a free kick. They're not going to make it now, it seems, Newport. So Simkin with a free kick for Walsall, midway point of his own half. 77 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Still 0-0 in this crucial League 2 encounter in South Wales in the sunshine. Simpkins free kick chested down by Matt. Adoma picks it up and rolls it out to Barrett in the right wing, level with the area, plenty to aim at, swings the cross deep to the far post. Asimwe heads it back across goal. Townsend punches it high in the air, punches it again as it came down, and McLaughlin hooks it clear. Walsall trying to win it back. They will do it at the edge of the area with George Hall. Hall was trying to get Asimwe in down the left hand side, but the pass wasn't hit right, but a shanked clearance out of play does give Walsall a throw. Keeping the pressure on here, the Saddlers. It is Taylor Allen, midway point of the half, drifts in field, but shows too much of that. But that was a dangerous challenge, a red card. Straight red card as Jamie Allen went through. Kieran Brennan went two-footed, he went off the deck. The referee has deemed that as excessive force, and he's given a straight red card to Kieran Brennan, and Walsall will now have 12 minutes to try and find that winner with a man advantage. Sam Parkin.
Well, just a completely unnecessary challenge. There's no doubt that he gets a large chunk of the ball when he plays the ball, but then he follows through with that two-footed action, which you just don't really see, do you, today, because it's an automatic red card. And you can tell from Brennan's reaction as well, he's gone straight over to the Walsall player. There's no complaints, really. A teammate McLaughlin's over there now with the referee, and he's apologetic, isn't he, Brennan, as he makes his way off? I don't think there's any arguments. It's a red card, it would seem.
He's got to head down the tunnel. He's heading towards the dugouts here, but he has to head for the early bath. And he is finally coming across to this near side. So 11 against 10 for the last 11 minutes or so. And he's just holding his arms up. What did I do wrong? Well, a two-footed challenge was what he did. Deemed as excessive force. And now he's heading towards the tunnel down to our right-hand side, getting a slap on the back of his head by one of Newport's coaching staff. What this means is Walsall have got a free kick, 30 yards out, quite a way to the left of centre. Allen is the set-piece specialist, but it might favour a right-footer. That's why Adoma's standing over it as well. Whether they go direct for goal or whether they actually clip it into the box and look for maybe Jamil Matt or McEntee or Okagbue, who's up there as well. Still Newport waiting to make that change and bring on Baker Richardson. Here's the free kick. It's Allen to take it left-footed, way over the top. Nowhere near on target. Townsend had it covered. Goal kick to Newport, who are down to 10 men but are holding on for 0-0 here.
Listen, it'll make it slightly easier, don't get me wrong, and you'd rather be playing against 10, but you're going to get where I'm going here. They were still attacking Newport. Now that's going to subside and they're just going to hanker in and try and get the point here. So it makes that space harder to find. You know how you're going to try and approach it as Walsall here, but it's not easy to execute when a team is probably going to settle for the point now. It's going to be defence versus attack. It's whether Walsall, which they haven't been able to do, find the good opportunity, find the guile, find the ability to prise open Newport's back line. Can they do it now against 10?
Hudlin for the Exiles, guides it down to Antwi, cross into the box, headed away by Barrett, only as far as Josh Martin. He finds Bobby Campbell, left-hand corner of the area. Glennon on the overlap, not used. Campbell puts it into the area. Martin tries to get the ball chested down and get a shot away, but Walsall bring it clear. It is with George Hall down this near side, the Walsall right, up against McLaughlin, who holds him up and then puts a foot in, puts it out for a throw. Locals loving this. They want Newport to hang on with the 10 men and frustrate Walsall. Here's Connor Barrett for the Saddlers. Under pressure, plays it out to Hall, level with the 18-yard line, near the right-hand corner of the box, infield for Stirk. Now Matt with his back to goal in the area, works it back out wide right for Barrett. Barrett faced up by Glennon, plays into the area for George Hall. George Hall into the area, a turn by McKenty, shot blocked, and a foul by McKenty as he swung his way through the ball, and Newport get a free kick and will take their time of getting it downfield and probably will make the change as well now, I sense, with Baker Richardson still waiting to come onto the field. 0-0.
Yeah, the home fans baying for blood there. Baker going to ground under the challenge from McKenty. I think he's just trying to shoot there on the swivel and inevitably just catches the Newport player. So, nothing doing in terms of a yellow card, but still Walsall struggling to make anything really. 3 shots on target, Danson. I think it's a fair point to make now. You have Nathan Lowe in this side today, in a game like today of tight margins, when you're not making opportunities. He fashioned something for himself. If you flip back to the early stage of the season, he got 2 in this fixture. I think that underlines his importance to a team that right now is struggling to make chances.
Change has been made. Hudlin off and Courtney Baker Richardson on. Returned from Crewe in July. He's got 4 goals this season. Courtney Baker Richardson, former Coventry youth player, and he's on in place of Hudlin. Like for like switch. Poor goal kick from Townsend, went straight out of play. 7.5 minutes to go of normal time, plus whatever referee Perkis wants to add on for all these substitutions in the second half. It remains Newport County 0, Walsall 0 on Talksport 2. Asimwe trying to get away down the left-hand side for Walsall, and then down goes Baker Richardson, being nudged over by Adoma. Free kick quickly given by the referee. Ellis Harrison is going to be introduced. You mentioned it, Sam Parkin, and Albert Adoma is making way. So one final gamble, one final throw of the dice from Matt Sadler for the Saddlers to try and find this elusive goal on this critical day. And Ellis Harrison has come onto the field on loan from Milton Keynes since February. Scored 3 goals, used to be not too far from here as a Bristol Rovers youth player. Can he be part of a Walsall side that finds its way to goal against 10 men of Newport with just over 6 minutes of normal time to play on Talksport 2? We'll be off to Ellen Road straight after this for all the build-up and then full commentary of Leeds against Stoke in the Championship. Now a foul given Walsall's way as McKenty was being held up by Camworth as he made his way up to the halfway line. Matt calling for it to be sent downfield, but it's been played short to Ryan Stirk. Stirk on halfway gives it back to Williams, across to Allen, the Walsall captain. Thought about playing it long, but instead plays it short into the feet of Hall, but Joe Thomas sticking to him. Ball nicked back in field to McKenty. Now back for Williams in the centre circle for Walsall. Brings the ball into the Newport half. It's a diagonal low, flat ball out to the left-hand side. I think he was looking for Harrison, but it went over his head and out for a Newport throw in their right-back position. Time running out for Walsall. 5 minutes to go. And Newport, as you would imagine, eating up every second they can as they prepare to get the ball back into play from the throw. In front of those Walsall fans taking up part of the Bisley stand opposite us. Joe Thomas going to get it back into play. Is there to be one last opportunity for the Saddlers to get the win and go back top? They're scrapping for possession against the 10 men of Newport. Jamil Matt, the former exile, tries to guide it down for McKenty. Thumped clear by Newport, but only as far as Okagbue, just inside the halfway line. He's got it back now, inside right channel. Slides it down the right-hand side of the box for Hall. Hall to the dead ball line, pulls it back to the near post. Okagbue was up there again, but couldn't get the header on target. McLaughlin clears his lines. There's nobody on halfway, as you might expect for 10-man Newport. So Williams has got the time to bring the ball down. But then he's dispossessed by Martin. And Kamwa has got Taylor Allen backpedaling, finds Martin inside the area to win it. Great save by Simkin with his left foot to preserve a 0-0 scoreline. What a chance. Easily the best chance of the game, and it came to the 10 men of Newport.
I mean, it's a brilliant save. Just lacked a little bit of conviction maybe on his left side, Martin, once he got in. It wasn't the perfect pass from Kamwa, but a good sight of goal nonetheless, and just couldn't get the power on it with his left side. It's the foot that thwarts him from Simkin. Really good save at a vital moment for Walsall.
So it stays 0-0, but the seconds have ticked away still further for Walsall. 86 minutes played, and it's with Taylor Allen on halfway, wanting an option, plays into the feet of McKenty. Now Williams gives it back to Allen, just shy of the halfway line, slides it out to Stirk, hugging the far touchline, works the ball in field. Little touch from Hall, trying to work it down the left-hand side of the box for Harrison. Harrison back to Stirk at the edge of the area, big chance, but left to right-footed shot over the bar. Maybe that was the moment for Walsall. Not taken by Ryan Stirk. Goal kick, 0-0.
Well, they've stuck with the same system. Ellis Harrison's playing a little bit withdrawn, and he's found there in a nice little bit of space, and then he finds that final little bit of detail, that final little bit of quality that, let's face it, has evaded both sides so far this afternoon. Lovely pick out on Stirk's left foot. He probably scores, definitely works the goalkeeper on his right. Little bit of a lottery, lacked conviction into the Walsall fans behind that goal.
3 minutes to go. Newport 0, Walsall 0 on Talksport 2. Goal kick from Townsend downfield is allowed to drift out of play by Simway for a Walsall throw, but they've got to get on with it now, the visitors. Stopwatch is most definitely against them. Stirk, who's just had that great chance at the edge of the area, plays it up to the halfway line. McKenty out to a Simway left-hand side. Newport getting everybody back behind the ball, bar Kamwa. Little run down the left-hand side of the box from Stirk, not found. But McKenty picks it up, pirouettes away from the challenge, out to the left wing of the Simway. First time cross on the run, into the near post, volleyed away by Warner, only as far as Stirk, who guides it back to Allen. Allen evades the challenge of Martin, again drifting down the left-hand side of the area. Another first-time ball from a Simway, and again it's Warner there at the near post to get it clear for Newport. But it comes back to a Simway a third time for the visitors. He doesn't cross this time, he leaves it for Ryan Stirk. Stirk to the byline, can he get the cross in? Checks onto his right, slides it into the area looking for Allen, but it was intercepted by Martin. But his clearance only finds Williams. Walsall trying to apply the pressure as we move into the last 90 seconds of the half. Here's George Hall pulling it back from the dead ball line. Jamil Matt with the back heel is going to drop for Stirk, and it's blocked on its way to goal. Comes out to the edge of the box, and Okagbue's drive goes sailing over the top. It looked like Ryan Stirk was going to shot it on goal, but a brilliant blockage prevented that strike, and it's a goal kick to Newport County, 0-0.
Yeah, Jamil Matt showing all his experience there, his strength as well, just pinning in the 6-yard box, flicking it into that area. He's not picking out Stirk, but he arrives again right on cue, and once again, he was just a little hesitant. He's probably just concentrating on that contact because it's on his swinger. It's charged down in any case, and that used to infuriate me. You've still got time there, centre half. Okagbue stepping onto it, and taking on the strike from 30 yards and doesn't get anywhere near the target. You need to just rotate that, recycle it. There will be another opportunity, plenty of time.
Into the last minute of normal time. Newport County 0, Walsall 0 on Talksport 2. Ball's out of play for a Newport throw as Baker Richardson worked hard from Townsend's goal kick. Thomas to take the throw. No hurry for Newport. They're down to 10 men, remember, after Kieran Brennan's straight red card for a two-footed challenge on Taylor Allen. Walsall win the ball back and lob it up to Jamil Matt, and nods it down for his strike partner Harrison. Heavy first touch allowed Baker to come across and hit it out of play right down beneath us for a Walsall throw just over halfway. We're about to find out how much additional time we will have here at Rodney Parade. The board goes up and it's 7 minutes. 7 minutes for Walsall to try and find a winner against 10 men. Groans went around Rodney Parade when that went up, apart from the Walsall fans behind the goal to our right, who sense there's still a chance here. Harrison, dispossessed by Baker Richardson. Baker works it up for Camwer. Camwer lays it off to Antwi on halfway. Back for Baker, who's back on his feet after that challenge when he won the ball. Warner. Oh, lovely little Cruyff turn to get away from McKenty. Then McLaughlin tries to play it through the centre of the pitch for Baker Richardson, but Walsall have it back. So we're in that first minute of 7. Newport 0, Walsall 0. Walsall need a winner to go top of the table. Barrett charging down the right-hand side, plays into the area. Matt trying to lay it off for a teammate, but Townsend was able to plunge on the loose ball inside his 6-yard box and gratefully hold on to it. Stays goalless.
Yeah, 2 substitutes out here on the right-hand side. Barrett just gave him too much to do there. Almost reached the byline, and he's wrapping his right foot around it, trying to produce something of quality. And Jamil Matt, carbon copy of the way he created that opportunity for Sturk on the opposite side, just trying to flick it back towards the penalty spot. Couldn't get the ball on it, and Townsend grateful to come out and clutch. And yeah, still time, but it hasn't looked likely. You've got to say, since about the 10-15 minute mark, it's been a poor display really from a creative standpoint from Walsall.
Sam Parkin alongside me, Ian Danter here at Rodney Parade, and we're in those 7 minutes of added time. Still 0-0. Walsall need to win to go top of the table. If this stays goalless or stays as a draw, they will go back into third place, the final automatic spot, but only on goal difference from Bradford, who play later at Chesterfield. Ball thumped away by Glennon, and it lands again on the corrugated iron roof above our heads. Walsall have a throw, and they're going to have to get on with it. And it will be Harry Williams that's going to take the throw in from about the midway point of the Newport half. Going to hurl it into the Newport box. As he know, he goes short to Ryan Sturk. He will play a square ball into central midfield for Taylor Allen. Out to the right-hand side where Barrett's got lots of room to measure a crossing for Walsall. Up goes Harrison, goes beyond him. Asimwe picks up the loose ball, works it back for Taylor Allen. Asimwe again for Walsall, down the left-hand side of the box, clips into the area. Matt with a header down. Harrison can't affect the shot in on goal, and a desperate clearance from Newport, 0-0. Oh, and then given away by Williams, but he's rescued by Taylor Allen as Camwer threatened to get away on a counter-attack for the 10 men of Newport.
He's had it out there wide left about 5 or 6 times, Asimwe, in the last 10 minutes, and he's really lacked conviction, or probably the want to put it in on his weaker side. There, he found the delivery of quality. Matt keeping it alive, really unlucky.
Connor Barrett down the right-hand side for Walsall, makes half a yard, but wins a corner off Anthony Glennon. The Walsall fans roaring their encouragement from the south stand to our right-hand side. 3 minutes of the minimum 7 have been played. It is still goalless. Walsall need that winner, and Newport have left a player up. How about that? 10 men, and they've left Josh Martin up, so that's forced Walsall to bring 2 players back to deal with him. As Talksport listeners join us in stoppage time at Rodney Parade, it's Newport 0, Walsall 0. Walsall desperate for a goal that would take them to the top of League 2 after this dreadful run of 11 games without a win, but they've rarely threatened the Newport goal. But Newport are down to 10 men A second half straight red card for Kieran Brennan after a two-footed challenge on Taylor Allen. It's given Walsall the man advantage, but Sam Parkin with 3 minutes of added time to play, they've not used that man advantage properly yet.
No, it's not likely that they were going to get the goal which they crave. Townsend's been underworked really in the Newport County goal. There's not been enough on his target really to warrant Walsall leaving here with the 3 points, and Newport, despite being down to the 10, still having a go, which is a credit to them, keeping players up the pitch and on the counter-attack, and a couple of times they've dispossessed Walsall defenders. They've looked more likely.
Long ball forward, looking for Josh Martin. Oh, and out comes the keeper, Simpkin, and he's collided with Josh Martin. And the referee's way play on, sees nothing wrong with that. Martin stayed down and Simpkin wants treatment for Josh Martin, and finally the referee agrees that he needs treatment. But he didn't see anything wrong, Sam Perkis, the ref, with that challenge as Simpkin came out of his area and collided with Josh Martin, the Newport substitute. And you can hear around us there is disbelief that there is no punishment for the Walsall goalkeeper here, 0-0.
Well, there was a high-profile incident of similar ilk, wasn't there, really? A goalkeeper coming out, Millwall, and Jean-Philippe Mateta getting a horrible injury. I mean, that was similar in that there was a ball clipped over the top, there was a little bit of hesitation, and he thundered into the challenge, didn't he? Simpkin, the Walsall goalkeeper, obviously we don't know the severity of the injury, and we hope that he's going to be absolutely fine, Martin, but I think that's a mistake from the referee. I think that's a free kick, and ultimately I think Simpkin's lucky that he's not, well, he hasn't got a yellow card, let alone a red. So yeah, I think he's fortunate. I think that's a mistake from the official.
Well, we don't have the benefit of replays here at Rodney Parade, but I'm not sure whether Sam Perkis thinks that Simpkin got the ball before the man. But then you go back to the red card challenge from Kieran Brennan on Taylor Allen, and that was getting the ball before the man, and he was out of control.
I think even more so when it's the goalkeeper dance as well. That collision invariably is going to be hefty. You know, I think in the middle of the pitch when you're competing and you're diving in, you're playing for second balls, yes, you can get caught, and we've seen a bad tackle today, but I think with the goalkeeper, we know how dangerous it is when they come careering out like that, and yeah, I'm sure it wasn't intentional, but he absolutely clattered into Simpkin. I thought the whistle was going to go, and unfortunately for Newport, it's just been waved away. It's going to mean a few extra minutes.
It is, because we played 6 of the minimum 7 that were added on.
He's up now a little bit.
Yeah, the collision actually happened with a pillar obscuring my line of vision here at Rodney Parade. But I think what has saved Tommy Simpkin the ball there is that he got the ball first, and that he was playing the ball and not the man. You could have the argument that Kieran Brennan was playing the ball and the man and not the ball.
Yeah, it was a 50-50, absolutely. Martin didn't have good possession, so it was there for the goalkeeper to come out and do what we've seen umpteen times over the years. Unfortunately, it's been in the news recently, hasn't it? And you could tell from both players, well, certainly you could tell from the goalkeeper's reaction that he was concerned for his opposition number there.
Well, Martin's back on his feet. You can hear the applause around us, so he's going to be led to this near touchline, and he's going to have to spend 30. His bandages round his head, so he's obviously had a bit of a cut or a bit of blood there, so he's got bandages around his head, and the boos will accompany the fact that there is no card for Tommy Simpkin, and we will get play back underway here on Talksport 2 with an uncontested drop ball that Walsall will pick up. So we played 97 minutes, that's done, but for now Newport are down to 9 men, with the fact that now Martin's got to wait 30 seconds before being brought back onto the pitch. And I mean, you can hear the words cheat, cheat, cheat being voiced by the Newport fans around us in the Candleston Terrace.
Yeah, and also, Dance, the referee's got to be quicker to stop the game there. In fairness, Walsall have made their way to, 40, 50 yards from the Newport goal there. It's clearly a big collision.
In fact, Martin's having to go off, the substitute's having to go off with a bit of concussion. Protocols being followed, so David Ajiboye is coming on to replace him.
His priority has got to be, I think, keeping his eyes on the aftermath of that collision.
Yes.
And he's got to make a quicker call that, obviously, the player's down with a head injury.
Yeah. So Ajiboye on loan from Peterborough. He's going to play out in place of Josh Martin, but it's anybody's guess how many minutes we will have played by the time the full-time whistle goes. Back underway on Talksport 2. 99 minutes on the clock. Newport 0, Walsall 0. Here come Walsall down the right-hand side with George Hall. Left-footed ball into the box. Up goes Taylor Allen. Nods it down. Jamil Matt with his back to goal. Can he turn it to? Feeds it back to Allen. Cleared away from in front of goal by Baker Richardson, back defending. Walsall have it again with Ryan Stirk into the box. Harrison just goes beyond him, drops to the far post for George Hall. Offside flag goes up against the Walsall player, and Newport survive 0-0.
Well, it's probably an irrelevant, but I don't know why Harrison didn't head that. It looked like it was perfectly positioned for him to fling himself at it, and he almost lost his bearings or tried to take it under his spell with his right foot. The opportunity gone with Hall in an offside position on the far post, but it's been pretty unrelenting, the pressure, last 10, 15 minutes, but they protected their goalkeeper well.
So it's a free kick for Newport inside their own penalty area. You could throw a blanket over all the outfield players either side of the halfway line. We've played 100 minutes now. Still 0-0. And your guess is as good as mine as to how many minutes will be played from this point before Sam Perkins brings this game to an end. Walsall have won a throw and they're desperate to get on with it. They want this winning goal. And the booze covers. Simkin gives it back to McKenty to take the throw. Okagbue just hits a Hail Mary downfield for Walsall, looking for a Simway. Comfortably headed away by Thomas. Then Ajiboye just rides the challenge on halfway. Comes into the Walsall half of the field. Then he's dispossessed. Taylor Allen in the centre circle. It's now or never for Walsall. Down the left-hand side with a Simway. Faced up by Thomas. Gets onto his right foot. Clips the ball into the area. Headed into the far post. McKenty. He scored for Walsall. Claims for handball. Nick Townsend's gone straight to the referee. It looked like a hand. But Oisin McKenty is wheeling away in celebration. And Walsall look to have won it. Not with the last kick of the game, but with the last arm of the game. Newport 0, Walsall 1. I can't believe that's been given.
It's wild scenes away to our right. It's incredible. It looks like he's gone to head it, McKenty. It's going to be ruled out because he's coming over to speak to his assistant, the referee. I think you need to look at the reaction of everyone in this stadium. It's clearly struck his arm. I think he mistimed the header.
And the referee's rolled out the goal, and that gets an even bigger cheer from around Rodney Parade as Walsall celebrations are cut short. The assistant confirms that Oisin McKenty handled the ball over the line. The goal is chalked off. We're still at 0-0, and now it's the Walsall players remonstrating with the referee. All happening right in the last few seconds on Talksport 2 and Rodney Parade. Walsall thought they were going back top. Not so, says the referee.
What it was at last a brilliant ball in. How long have we waited for that? So many balls going into the 18-yard box, no quality. Eventually they find it. It's a sitter on the far post, and it's definitely, I think, head, then hand, and then into the net. So it looked like it was going to be a hell of a gaff from the officials. Thank goodness me, I think justice has been done.
Just shows you don't need VAR. And the full-time whistle goes, and Walsall have blown the chance to go back to the top of League Two. They get a point at Rodney Parade, which does for now get them back into the top three, but they wanted more. They couldn't get more. They thought they had more when Oisin McKenty put the ball in the back of the net with the last attack of the game, but it was spotted by the assistant as a handball from the Walsall substitute. So the referee ruled it out. There's now players of both sides milling around the referee and his two assistants. But the facts of the matter are that it's a point apiece. Newport are safe, surely towards the foot of the table with the point they've gained here. But for Walsall, a point only it is. And now it's over to Bradford, who go to Chesterfield at 3 o'clock. They're now behind Walsall on goal difference. anything positive from the Bantams, and once again, Sam Parkin, Walsall's promotion destiny is out of their own hands.
It's another body blow for them, isn't it, Dance? I think the elation they would have felt in the dressing room, the way home this afternoon after a last-ditch victory would have been enormous, could have catapulted them for the next couple of games into a much better place. The reality is now they'll turn their attention to that Bradford game at Chesterfield, which is an incredibly tough game. Chesterfield have been in fine fettle in recent weeks. There's not too much between the two sides in terms of distance, so that'll be a big game for Chesterfield supporters and Bradford alike today, so there's no givens that they'll go there and win. But that's I think that was a poor performance from Walsall. They could have got over the line. It would have probably papered over the cracks that are still evident to me, and that's going to take some getting over. Dust themselves down. Accrington Stanley, Crew, 6 points. They could still very much do it. That's going to be some going though, given how deflated they're going to be now tonight.
Well, the Walsall players making their way off towards the tunnel to our right-hand side. Newport players doing a lap of honour around the Bisley stand away to our left. Referees making their way off. Massive controversy at the end of the game where Walsall thought they'd won it, but the referee's assistant had other ideas and gave a handball against Oisin McKenty, so it ends up being a point apiece. Walsall up into third, but for how long? Maybe for a couple of hours, maybe until next Saturday. We'll have to wait and see. Remember, Adrian Durham taking you around the ground with goals as they go in from the EFL this Easter Monday afternoon. My thanks to Sam Parkin for being with me this afternoon.
Cheers, Dan.
On
Enjoyed
Talksport 2.